that yet. But that's okay, because we are going to focus on right here and right now. And that, my friends, is our first round match. Min Min as a lawyer on the left, Inca on the right, coming in with that Helix. And I do apologize there, lawyer. Your name somehow got misspelled along the way. And away we go. Lawyer as the Min Min on the left, coming in with the Chakram and the Roaster. Usual loadout that we see her come in with. Inca as that Helix, like we said, coming in with the Toaster and the Triblast. So going for a little bit of hot and a little bit of explodey goodness. But Min Min's already got the Dragon Arm up on the Chakram, which is incredibly important, especially for a character going up against a character like Helix. You want that Chakram to be as big as possible, especially when Helix can be as small as possible. Or as long, you know, Helix can be a tower as well. Both fighters with a rush already available. Aloya is going to have their Chakram still being punched out by that Toaster, but able to pretty much miss the rush for the most part. But now going to catch Helix in midair. Unfortunately, Helix had committed to the jump and had nowhere else to go, so really good moment there from Aloya to capitalize on that situation. And as you see, Helix already in critical. As we rapidly approach the 30-second mark, Aloya backs up, makes sure that Chakram is up to that permanent mode, but is going to lose it because the Triblast knocks her down. And speaking of being knocked down, out comes the trampoline. Mausoleum is a pretty much standard spherical stage until you pop open that middle area and the trampoline comes into play, and Helix will probably bounce off that quite happily. And as you can see, that's exactly what they're doing. In fact, they're really taking the fight to Aloya. They're going to commit to the rush. They're going to do as much chip damage as possible. I think that's going to be as close as it gets, but it's not, because Aloya comes out with the rush of their own. The Chakram will connect, and in the end, Aloya had to do that because yeah, that pressure from Inca was really coming on, and with 3 seconds to go, you don't want to take that risk. You want to get that first point where you can. And now we're going to see some arm switches from both players. Aloya again using the fact that the trampoline is out to just quickly build up that Chakram back up to permacharge status. She is coming in with that whammer this time round, so a big old hammer. But Inca, not one to just take that hammer. Is going to come in with a heavy weapon of their own, the wonderful Gusher. Not the Gusher, the Blob even. The Gusher's the poison one. You'll know it when you see it. The Blob will pretty much act as a smoke screen essentially if it does connect. The rush will not give us an example of that, and Aloya is going to give us a beautiful little counter rush, except doesn't really get as much as they'd like to. Only ticked in for around 70 there, but it is damage nonetheless, so Aloya will take it. It just adds to their health just a little bit, and is going to get punished for the overuse of that shield. Was a little too close to Helix, and Inca said that's a free grab, thank you very much. And pops this back down to normal, but the hammer is going to connect. If it does hit and it doesn't knock you down, it will stun you, and if you're in the air, you bet your butt you're going to land on the floor immediately. And Helix just stalling out on the trampoline there. Took about a second or so to register that Helix was on the trampoline. And now Min Min going to bounce all the way back. Inca is in a bit of a situation here where they have to really commit to all of their rush. But unfortunately, Aloya also waited for them to close the door and is firing out with a rush of their own and will take the initiative in this set. Our first round match is going to start with Aloya in the lead by 1-0. So a good showing from both so far. Inca definitely has the right idea. The Blob unfortunately wasn't really connecting as much as they'd like to, so not the best switch. Not the best switch in the world, but having said that, could have been worse. Still very much in contention to try and claw back a third match, so you never know how these things go. We've already heard that Yam has taken out Louis, so that was very quick. Maybe there was some connection issues going on there, but that's unfortunate. But Louis is not out. Remember, it is a double elimination tournament, so we may still yet see them again. And we're going to stay on Mausoleum for this current set. I'm going to quickly move this scoreboard away just so I can have a look at what is happening in the little chat over there. Let's see you all. I think you're all doing good. Yoshi and Scrimps all in there. And yes, if you want to keep an eye on the bracket yourself, you may do so by typing !bracket, and it should send you to the challenge site. We're going to see Inca switch out here. Inca is going to switch to Kid Cobra. So from one slippery, lanky fiend to a very slippery Cobra. Cobra a lot more mobile, as you can already see, and has the bigger arms pretty much from the get-go. So always an interesting character to play with, and also their grabs do that little bit more damage as well. Gonna keep with that blob. I'm gonna come in with a big old buff as well. So, you know, no elemental bonuses to that, just a straight up big heavy hitting arm. Aloya, meanwhile, is pretty much gonna stick with what worked last time round, committing to the hammer. But this time round, Inca is gonna find a beautiful moment to just sweep in with Cobra. That's how mobile this character is, can quickly get out of the way of a rush, and came in with one of their own. And Aloya now having to fight from the back here. And I think this Cobra putting just a little too much pressure on him at the moment. Gonna fall foul to another hit. One more of those might see the KO. Inca has a considerable health lead, but if this hammer does keep hitting like it is, and so does the Roaster doing a lot of damage for an unguided arm, and a grab as well, and the Aloya is pulling this back beautifully here. Gonna come in with the rush, and Inca just about gets the shield up. But now needs to be incredibly careful. Anything could probably KO here. Rush is gonna come out. Gonna block out one of the hammer hits, and just about take the lead with the health, but has to be incredibly careful, and it's okay. Just on the 10-second mark, it is the big old buff that comes on through to give Inca a point and a chance to take this to match 3. Aloya, meanwhile, knowing full well that that is going to be a bit of a hard thing to really punch out with, is going to bring in that chakram to try and get around it. Very good idea. I don't think they got the Dragon Arm up. No, they didn't. And if you're Inca, you definitely want to make sure you keep that gap as small as possible. But Aloya finds just enough of a window to get the Dragon Arm up. And that is going to make Cobra's life that little bit more difficult. Like I said, the bigger hitbox on that really does come into play sometimes. But Inca is going to come out with the rush. Aloya did not get the shield up in time, and it is going to take 370 damage. This is much more in Inca's favor than it was last time round. Aloya has rush available, but this is going to take a considerable comeback and a half. Has to rush through because the blob was going to hit. So 300 damage keeps Aloya in this match, and has to try and find a way of slowing down this Cobra. It's just not working out. The hammer does at least come through, but the big old buff is gonna say a no to any potential comeback. And in our first round of the day, we are going to match 3, my friends. Inca takes that one with a 2-0 victory. It's 1 apiece. So already off to an incredibly close start. And you never know, we might see Mausoleum come back yet again. We saw Aloya win on it, we've seen Inca win on it, so maybe we get a breath of fresh air, maybe we get the same stage, because clearly both like the stage. But the switch that Inca made, it was an inspired switch, they knew exactly what they were doing, and Cobra worked beautifully for that. We are going to see a counter pick come out on round 1, so always nice to see the counter picks coming up on the get-go. We're going to Viadolst, is Aloya's pick. Now, Inca probably will not switch. Obviously, if you do win and you switch out fighters, you have to declare a switch in the chat. So, you see Viadolst come out. And if you're a Cobra, that's not the end of the world. It really depends on the loadout that you're going up against here, because, you know, Cobra's a slippery devil. That's just what they do. And yet, we are going to see Min Min versus Cobra again. And as we move forward, there's a lot of round 1 matches already being done and dusted. We'll get you up to date on them all once we finish with this match, because right now it's incredibly close. And that's no pun intended, because we've got Inca in this match. Inca still going to run with that big old buff and that, and the blob. I don't know why I was thinking of wanting to call that the bubble. I'm making too many Splatoon references in my ARMS game. Whoopsie. Aloya still going to come in with that chakram, and to be fair, it should help just a little bit more, especially with how smaller the stage is. And plus Aloya does get a chance to at least get the Dragon Arm up right at the get-go, since, yes, the stage is small, but from where you start, it doesn't seem like it. Cobra is going to get a big-time grab, and you see what I mean, 170 damage. Just that little extra little nick always helps. But the Lawyer's going to have, again, another window to get that arm charged back up. But this is not where you want to be. Stuck in one of these smaller corners. And the second Cobra starts closing in, it's very hard to get out of there, especially with an arm going up against your face like the Blob does. The way it just bounces, it's a very awkward thing to try and avoid sometimes. Does manage to get the hit with the chakram, but wasn't able to get anything from that, but it's okay, because the counter rush is going to come out, and the Lawyer takes the initiative. Cobra, unfortunately, went for the rush, whilst Min Min hadn't really done the jump just yet, so not to be on this one right now. And Inka's just thinking about this now. Gonna stick with the same loadout. And again, you see a Lawyer immediately hops back because they know Cobra isn't gonna get there in time. And so Min Min will start again with that chakram up on the arm. Hits Cobra just as they went for the jump. And we'll take the initiative just for the time being. But again, the second you allow a character like Cobra to start playing too aggressive and in your face, it can be a little hard to breathe sometimes, let alone organize an attack. You see a Lawyer just trying to get back every now and then, just hitting the chakram and then quickly hopping back. Just trying to keep Cobra pinned into this corner and force Inka into a mistake. Tries to go for the rush. Actually does get a little bit of damage. 255, despite the fact they missed half of that rush, is still really impressive. But now they have to keep this pressure on because the Lawyer once again got the Dragon Arm back up. They have the rush on hand as well, whereas Inka now has to charge it all the way back up. And that should be the KO. Inka fell very awkwardly. I thought they'd hit the floor already, but they hadn't. Lawyer will juggle just millimeters above the ground. And Lawyer will take that in a 2-1 set. And again, win a 2-0 fashion. Both matches ended in a 2-0 victory. But very, very close confirmed. But Lawyer will take that, breathes a sigh of relief, and will move forward into round 2. And Inka, to be fair, I don't think they'll be going out anytime soon down in the underground bracket because they put on an amazing show. The Helix was unfortunately a bit wobbly, but that's Helix. Helix is a very wobbly character anyway. But their Kid Cobra, on point. Like, they knew exactly what they were doing, and even when they did lose that match 2-0 in the end, they still had some very good players. Unfortunately, that big chakram, the second you allow that to stay as a permanent charge, it's a bigger hitbox, and they're always harder to avoid by default, even with a very fast character, a very mobile character like Kid Cobra. But that is going to be that for round 1. Now, in terms of round 2, we should probably give you a little bit of an up-to-date shenanigans on what's been happening. So Riffa beat B2 2-0, Rafa beat Penzo 2-0, Replicant beat Udon 2-0, Coslina beat Slacks 2-0. You see a theme here. However, after that, it all then changed, because then we had Grimwood beating Ent 2-1, so a very close set. Lawyer beat Inka 2-1. I think there was connection issues for Louis, so Yam went through. And then Okran beat Yoshi 2-1, so the latter half of the bracket was very, very close. And as you can see, in the lobby, we've got Rafa and we've got Riffa waiting for us. Yes, it's going to be Riffa versus Rafa. Oh boy, I have not seen these two fight against each other for a very long time, and I am looking forward to this. This is going to be a phenomenal set of matches here, and it's a best of 3. It's very early on in this tournament. I am looking forward to this. So we're just waiting on the bands to come out. And whilst we do that, need I remind you that Rafa is coming in as the reigning champion. Rafa won this cup all the way back at the second ever cup. Since then, I say nothing has gone right for them. They've came second 4 times, but their last ever appearance in a final of this cup was all the way back at the 23rd cup. So it's been a while. It has been a while. Has Rafa still got it? That is the question we are going to find out. everyone just pinging up in chat. Just gonna give a quick shout out to you all whilst we wait for the matches to be banned. It looks like it is going to be DNA Lab that we will go to. So shout outs to Hammer, I see you in there. Nyla's, good to have you. Rafa says great casting. Thank you very much. I hope you continue to enjoy it. Rifa's going to come in with Springtron and also Nye as well. Good to see you as well. Sorry you couldn't take part this time round. Hopefully you get better soon. So yeah, Rifa coming in with Springtron, going to lead with a Pop and a Thunderbird. So good old Wind and good old Shock. Rafa, meanwhile, coming in with another Cobra. Good to see. Gonna come in with the Burchuck and the Megawatt. So, a very slow arm for a very fast character. And Rifa is gonna immediately activate EMP. Has a chance to do so. Just bulks them up just that little bit. And if you do time EMPs just right, you can disable arms as well. But it's also very easy to punish if you are close enough. And there is gonna be another EMP. Rafa not gonna go for the punish attempt. Rifa probably knows better than anyone how to get out of that if such a scenario does play out. The Thunderbird, very interesting arm, flitters around. It is a curved tool in and of itself, and obviously if that shock does hit, you'll know about it because it's a pretty decent time on it. And with a character like Springtron, if you're playing that kind of aggressive game, you will try and go for some kind of punish. Rafa rushes through the shock. Tags Rifa for 15, but that is the only amount of damage they've really done so far in this match. Another Thunderbird is gonna catch. Didn't think so, I did. And the Thunderbird is gonna catch yet another one for Rafa against Rafa, and Rifa coming out with that rush as well. So Rafa in all sorts of problems as the Megawatt bounces off up the steps. With 15 seconds to go, Rifa has a commanding health lead, and barring any kind of catastrophe, I think Rifa has probably got this point no matter what happens here. So really it's just keeping Rafa down and trying to keep that rush as charged up as quickly as possible. KO is finally going to come out for Rifa. I think it was the bird that gets the last poke, just flutters on by. And the Cobra is going to go down yet again. Rafa going to change things up massively. The Megawatt just not helping for them. It's such a slow arm, and a character like Springtron is just going to make sure that is shut down at every possible opportunity. No, actually going to come back out with the Megawatt, so clearly has a plan in mind. And it's got the arm weak on the right hand side, so the pressure from that popper is starting to add up, but it needs to find a way of chipping through. Megawatt went for the punch rush, but it's not going to happen. It's actually going to be caught out completely by Rifa. That's the risk you run by running the Rod. It is a slow arm. Yes, it's big. Yes, it can't really be punched through, but the Thunderbird is coming through every other time to just stop Rafa dead in their tracks. Popper is going to bounce harmlessly off the shield. It's a quick arm, but again, as long as the shield is up in time, or if the Thunderbird hits first, it's not going to go any further than that. Megawatt finally does hit, and I don't think Rafa was expecting it to hit, so there was no follow-up or anything in that sense of the word. And Rafa finds themselves back down into critical. Another hit from the Popper just sends them flying. Rifa just looking for one more little tap. The rush is not going to connect. The Watt actually managed to bop the Popper out of the sky there and keeps Rafa just about alive in this match. But they're going to have to not only land their next rush, and here it comes. It does land, and it sends Rifa back for 335. Chips down their health nicely, but they have to be so careful here. Just one little point of damage is right there, and that is all Rifa is looking for. Kept that very much alive there, Rafa, but in the end, that pressure from the bird Popper combo, it's very quick in and of itself, and Rifa is going to take the initiative and lead by a 0-0. And these two know exactly what they want to do. They're just straight up in there with the bands. No sooner have they left the match. It's just like, these two know exactly what they're doing. Rifa's going to come back in with the Tron. Rafa going to come back in with the Cobra. And no changes. So Cobra wants to keep that Watt on the back. Are they going to I'm going to hop in with their own? Yep, yes they are. They're going to bring in a Popper of their own. So... and already you can see the effect of that. Rifa went for the grab, and the Popper just not only went straight through, but Rifa didn't even get their arms back in time. They had to take that Popper straight to the face, and Rafa not playing around anymore. That Popper is putting a lot more pressure on Rifa here than I think we were expecting. And suddenly Rifa has to now play a completely different game now because Rafa has not just switched arms, they've switched playstyle completely. They are just taking this fight to Rifa, and suddenly, if a popper goes through, the Megawatt hits, and that is a grab. Where in the world did that come from, Rafa? That was clean. That was incredibly clean. Rifa could not keep up with that whatsoever. And the worst part is, if the popper hit and the Megawatt comes out, there's a very high chance that Springtron is going to take the Watt to the face. And at that point, it's... what else do you do? They are going to start off with a peck from the Thunderbird, and it'll hopefully keep them a little bit more alive in this match, but the second they allow this popper to just keep running through, Rifa's going to have an increasing amount of problem. Cobra is just keeping center stage and not allowing them to go through, and the Watt just punches straight on through again. 350 from that rush. Rifa is completely losing their minds here because suddenly this has been flipped right on its head. They've got no answer for this combination here. They're being pinned against the wall and they have to fight back out. That trampoline could be coming out at any point, but this is starting to get a little bit dicey. Arm finally down on the left hand side gives Rifa a chance to breathe and get themselves back into this match. Get the EMP up, get both of these arms charged, and finally it's starting to swing back in their favor. Rush is available, but we'll see when Rifa decides to use it. Rafa is in KO range if it does come out, but the Megawatt is gonna cancel it anyway! It punched through the popper again, and another little confirm. Now Rafa is just needing a grab, and Rafa takes an amazing point away! Oh, you really could not... You really couldn't write that any better if you tried. The rush came out, the Megawatt laughed at the popper, went straight through, completely took Rifa down, and from there, it was just momentum for Rafa in every sense of the word. And for the second match in a row on this stream, we're going to match 3, and we're going to Via Dulce is exactly the call. So once again, Via Dulce makes an appearance as the counter pick, Tron versus Cobra. We could still get it. I mean, I say it's an upset if this happens on the basis that Rifa has the accolades, has the wins, and is reigning champion. It would technically be an upset if Rifa goes into underground bracket here. But away we go for match number 3. Rafa gonna stick with the pop and the Watt because hey, why in the world not? It worked last time, it'll work again. Tron is gonna fight from the corner and finally disconnect with the Thunderbird. It should be a little bit more viable in this kind of stage, especially with the fact that the Thunderbird can pretty much fly anywhere here, and the popper is still going to be a very quick tool to use. They just need to keep that Cobra at bay. They need to keep that slowed down. Finally get another little peck with the charged up Thunderbird. Here's them a chance to EMP up, and you can see Rafa already having to play a very different game. They're not 100% sure how they want to deal with this, and a grab is going to send them into critical. Rafa will probably hold on to rush. Rafa will likely not want to use their rush unless they know they can KO, which is not going to happen at this point because Rafa is going to take the initiative. All they're looking for is one more point. So, here we go again. And immediately Rafa comes in with the first hit and is going to go for the rush, but Rafa is just going to sit there and go, no you don't, that's not happening today, not on this occasion. Going to try and slide around and be a little bit of a sneaky Cobra, but it's not going to happen, and unfortunately Rafa tried to go for the quick poke to stop the EMP and found themselves having an arm disabled in the process. Never what you want to do. Finally does get a poke with the Watt and is now starting to force Rafa back into that corner, but again, another quick little popper will blow them away and keep them very much alive, but that rush is going to change things just a little bit. 365 neutralizes the health deficit. Thunderbird will connect, but Rafa cannot take advantage of it. Both now just playing that little bit of a shield waiting game, seeing who wants to go for the grab, who wants to go for the quick little poke first. Rush is going to come out, and the Watt again is coming in clutch and poking Rafa down, and now it's just a poke away. Rafa has initiative, but if Rafa keeps getting connected with these poppers, it might still turn away from them. They just need one more poke. If Rafa can get a grab or any kind of confirm, it will do it. The popper is going to do exactly that! And Rafa will be a little bit annoyed. That was very much could have gone to another 3rd-point match, but not on this occasion. Riffa is going to just breathe a massive sigh of relief. The 1-2 combo hit just in the nick of time. And Riffa will go through after an incredibly hard-fought match. My word. I have missed seeing these two fight. I have missed it so much. The Rafa just completely cleaning Riffa up at Mausoleum and nearly taking it to a 3rd match in fire, but great comeback from Riffa. It's why they're the reigning champion, and wow, what a set. GG's all around. 2 matches at the start of this tournament have all gone to a 3rd match in the best of 3. I'd like to say that sets the tone for this tournament. Oh my word. It also means the underground bracket is already looking very spicy. Into our first semi-final, we've got Riffa, who will be going up against Replicant. Replicant beating Kozolina 2-0. Grimwood has beaten Aloria 2-0. They are waiting in the 2nd semi-final. Who they will fight? Well, that's still being fought against at the moment. That is Yam versus Arkrim. That match is still being sorted as we speak. And we can do some reporting from the underground bracket whilst we are here. B2C is out. They have been eliminated by Penzo 2-0. Slacks is out. Slacks is out at the very early stages. Knocked out by Udon 2-0. You hate to hear it, but that's just how it goes. Inca took out Ent with another 2-0 set. And Yoshi Bowser eliminated Louis also with a 2-0. So all of the underground brackets so far have been 2-0, which is unfortunate. So underground round 2 is as follows. Rafa versus Yoshi Bowser, Kozolina versus Inca, Aloria versus Udon Pasta, and Penzo will face the loser of Yam Okrim, which is a match that is still going on. So it gives us a chance to have a breather. And I might need to drink some water almost immediately, because after round 2, damn, this is already being quite the hype set. The hype set, the hype tournament. But yeah, for Rafa to make it to top 3, they've got to fight through an awful lot down there. But, you know, stranger things have happened. It is interesting to know that out of the people who are still in this in the tournament at this stage, which is Yoshi Bowser and Inca. Yoshi Bowser and Inca are the only 2 who have not made it to top 3 in the Challenge Cup yet. So, but for them to do that, Inca will have to beat Kozolina and Yoshi will have to beat Rafa. And after the set you just watched with Rafa, that is going to be a very hard set for Yoshi to fight in. So, but you never know. Anything can happen here. Wow, my keyboard sucks at the moment. So, by the sounds of it, I think we're just giving everyone just a quick chance to breathe. Since one of the matches is still going on, normally we do the other semi-final first, but that semi-final isn't ready yet, so it looks like we're going to get Riffa to come back in, and we will do our first semi-final involving them, so it will be another all-R game. We went from Riffa versus Rafa, now we go to Riffa versus Replicant. Remember, these are still best of 5 matches. The semi-finals are best of 3s. It's the winners final, which will be after these next 2 semis. That will be our first best of 5 of the session. So in they all come. The bands are just starting out. So Riffa, our reigning champion. Replicant has the highest spread out of everybody else behind Riffa, with 2 first place victories, 2 second places, and 4 third places. The last time they won was also the last time they made it to final, which was the 38th cup. So we're talking 7 cups back. So they are no stranger. They are no stranger to being in the top 3, let alone winning this event. looks like we are going to start ourselves up on DNA Labs. So hopefully you're all sitting comfortably. It should be an awful lot of fun. And yeah, another double R game. Once we have an update on what is happening in the brackets, we will give you a heads up. Because there's an awful lot still going on. Like I said, this is a 16-player tournament. Anything can happen here. So, we are good to go. Riffa on the left coming in with that Springtron again. Lollipop on the right coming in for Replicant. And we're going to see a Popper and Thunderbird go up against the Hydra and a Coolerang. So we're going to be playing with some fire and ice there, Lollipop. Always nice to see. A wonderful little clown can inflate up and waddle around with that shield still up. Yes, they're very slow, but crucially, the shield is still up. So we're going to see just how this is all going to play out. Riffa already got so much space. Going to get that EMP immediately up. Replicant is playing with the general gist of trying to land with the Hydra. If the Hydra can land, it will immediately knock Riffa down as long as it is charged up, because that's what the fire ability does. That pop-up rush is going to come through and send Replicant back. But since it pretty much took them behind the tube completely, Riffa knew they couldn't really follow up and do any additional damage. Replicant now comes in with a rush of their own, but Riffa is going to full-on block that. No damage done whatsoever. Cooling is not going to quite find its mark. Gonna be there to mostly slow down and just stall out Springtron's ability for as long as possible, but that's only if it can hit, and so far the Thunderbird is being that a little bit more consistent at the moment. Replicant already down into critical condition. Weak on that left hand side, and there is the first of those chills, but naturally Riffa has a very quick arm to negate any kind of grab attempt, so as long as the popper at least fires up, the grab will not happen. 15 seconds to go, and it's still very close here. Replicant has brought the health deficit back down nicely. If they wanted to go all in, they could do so, but at this stage, I think it is very much Riffa's match. With 3 seconds to go, Replicant is just going to waddle on up. Does get a grab, but it's not going to be enough damage to take it down, and Riffa knew full well that that was always going to be their match to go there. So, first point, but Replicant just saying, I'm not out of this yet. I can still keep with you. Gonna switch out that Hydra. Wasn't really doing as much as they'd like to. Oh, and tried to go for the rush. Tried to bounce straight up into the sky, and Riffa was having none of that. Immediately shot them down. Having said that, Replicant able to block out Riffa's as well. So even field, and that Roaster already proven a little bit more of a threat this time around to Riffa. No guidance system, like we said, as for the Roaster, but as a result, it is that little bit more dangerous. It certainly hits that much harder, and there has to be a little bit careful of that, especially since it'll now punch through the popper completely. But so far, Replicant, ever since that first initial punch, not having the best accuracy with it at the moment, and the popper is still being a quick and deadly little poke machine. Again, no pun intended, I know it's Springtron. Coolerang does hit around the back, but Replicant still has an awful lot of health to try and work through here, especially with 40 seconds left on the clock. Another Roaster comes through. This keeps Riffa at bay, and the one does charge, and finally, Riffa now needs to be very careful. Granted, Replicant is in critical, and a grab is going to make sure that all Riffa needs is just one punch, one grab, or one little connection from that rush, and it will be all she wrote. Another EMP is going to go off. Riffa just biding their time, just playing with Replicant just that little bit. The tube I thought was going to keep Riffa protected, but it does not. Actually broke through it, and the grab just unfortunately missed it, but that crucially was blocked, and unfortunately, Replicant, instead of waiting for the rush to go through and finish, they had a chance to shield it, but they did not. They tried to go for the punish, but it did not happen, so Riffa will take the lead with this. And Replicant, I feel like you saw what they were going for. They were trying to go through the back door with the boomerang, trying to get the hit whilst all of that rush was happening, but unfortunately it didn't quite work. They should have held off, tried to go for that last second grab that they did last time around, which may have seen a draw, but you never know with the health here. It can go either way sometimes, so we'll have to do that again. And looks like it's going to be temple ground, so we're going to go from one pillar stage to another. Instead of six tubes, we're going to have 4 pillars. Should be a nice little mix-up for everyone. Will there be a switch of any kind? No switches from the pair of them by the looks of things. Still going to see the Tron take on the Lola. Might be an arm switch here though for Rep, and yes there is. We're going to see the Tri-Blast and the Birdshot coming out here. So the Birdshot with 2 different modes of firing. Has one on the ground, as you saw there. It comes out vertically with a nice little spin. If you fire it in the air, it becomes a little bit of a horizontal, more of a horizontal bar. And you can see Riffa immediately charges up on the EMP. Tri-Blast, as long as it does hit, it can deal 2 forms of damage. If it hits once, it'll do the bolt damage, and if it's charged, it will then explode, which can knock back most fighters. And Riffa, not really going to change much up. Going to keep that Thunderbird and Popper combination. Replicant just trying once again to either just stall out Springtron and stop them from using their ability for a short while, or try to just use the bolts to try and cover the distance that Springtron is consistently trying to go for, and actually going to rush through that quite nicely. Replicant keeps them in the match as a result with this. Bounces away, obviously the kind of bounce that Lollipop gets certainly gives them a lot of options for both attacking and defending. Grab is going to get poked through this time around by Riffa, and the bolts again. As long as one of those bolts hit, it just stops you just for a fraction. It's just enough to throw you off, and Replicant is using that beautifully here. Another connection with the charged up blast. With 15 seconds to go, Riffa has to do a massive commitment here to try and close down this deficit. And they are going to try and go for it. They'll go for the rush now. They'll juggle Rep in the air. 5 seconds to go. They're going to have to go for a big time hit, but it's not going to happen. The EMP came out, but Lola was so close to Springtron that it really was the wrong moment to go for the EMP. And Replicant will not only start with the point, but start with an advantage. Already with the rush available, Riffa's got it all to do. Especially when most of the pullers also destroyed. There's nowhere else to really hide, but start off on the offensive. And Replicant seeing if they can push Springtron into this corner, commit to the rush. Shield will come up. Will it break the shield? It will. So 85 damage will go through, but Riffa, as a result, almost has their rush ready to go. As long as you block the damage from a rush, you'll charge up your rush just that little bit quicker. And that's what you can already see there. Already flashing yellow. Riffa has theirs good to go. And puts them right back into this match. And Replicant punished for the overuse of their shield. And Glass is going to get poked and stopped once again. It's always a finicky combination to work with, but when it works, it's beautiful, as seen there. The Popper keeps them in the air, and the Thunderbird will deal the damage. And Riffa puts themselves right back into contention. Not going to get anything with that EMP though. That push, that aggressive one, did not happen. Managed to pick Lola out of the air again with the Popper, just on the basis of how quick it is. And another Thunderbird shot. Wasn't really able to properly take advantage of it though, just a little too far away. And Replicant knows they're going to have to do something special if they want to pop this one back, especially with 20 seconds to go. It's not out of contention just yet though, and they forced Riffa back into the corner once again. The grab means that Riffa is in KO range, but the Thunderbird is going to get another tasty little poke. Going to go for the rush. And the shield, will it break again? No, it won't. And the pop will come through. And this time, the point will start on the other foot. It's now Riffa's advantage. If Riffa wins this, they'll win the set 2 points to 0. Replicant is going to drop the Tri-Blast and come in with a nade. No, they're not. They're going to go back to the Tri-Blast. It was unfortunate there from Rep, but that's just how it goes. The Tri-Blast is going to connect on the initial poke, but Riffa has the advantage. It's just a case of when they choose to use that rush. Grab, not going to connect, but Riffa wasn't able to get the punish and gets caught with another Tri-Blast. And if anything, the longer Riffa waits here, the more Replicant will come back into this match because they have almost got a rush of their own ready to go. And sometimes all it could take is just one rush connection to change the entire match. And so far, Replicant is being way more consistent with their punches here, in this point at least, than Riffa. Finally gets a little chance to breathe, but doesn't want to go for the EMP, doesn't want to bulk up just yet. Tries to go for another grab attempt, but again, the nature of Lollipop, she's so bouncy and springy, and unfortunately Replicant lost the arm. Riffa could not take advantage of it though. So Replicant somehow managed to go through that entire session with not a point of damage. Riffer finally now EMPs up, gets another poke with the popper, and it's starting to tip into their favor just that little bit more. Replicant now trying to force the initiative from Riffer. They know with 30 seconds to go they have the health lead, but again, a successful rush could very much change everything. The amount of pressure that Replicant is poking in. Again, the grab is just too far away. Riffer's going for too many long-range grab attempts, and Replicant just needs to throw a bolt out just to stop it dead in its tracks. They're being forced into the corner, but with 10 seconds to go, this is essentially Replicant's game. Riffer dropped the shield, and that will pretty much be it. No grab or rush will ever turn this away, and with that, we have another match free on our hands. It's one apiece. Replicant has tied this set up. Oh, what is happening in this tournament? This tournament is becoming quite silly. 3 matches in a row. 3 third matches in a row. Oh, this is quite spectacular. So the bands and whatnot are coming out again, and like I said, that was really all downhill from Riffer from there. The second Replicant started to get more successful pokings. Yes, the popper was coming out, but Riffer was committing to way too many long-range grabs, and all Replicant needs to do is just throw out the Tri Blast. It'll punch through the grab. If the popper isn't ready yet, it's going to be a successful hit. So it's unfortunate how it plays like that, but there we go. And with that, yeah, we're gonna go back to DNA Lab for this match. And it looks like both are ready and up. Replicant double checking the arm changes. Doesn't need to announce those. You don't announce arm changes if you're switching. It's just character changes you have to announce. We have a lot to report in, by the way, in terms of matches that have been happening outside of this match, because we have a lot to catch up on. Riffer is going to bring in a power baller. Yes, we're going to, not power baller, a power soul. We're going to see a power soul come into this match. So this is going to be a little bit different. Replicant also coming in with, is this the Nuka-Cola? Is this the Nuka-Cola that I'm seeing here? Because I think it is. We're going to see the homie and the Tri-Blast for Replicant. And Riffer is going to have to deal with even bigger explosions now. Obviously doesn't have the quickness of the popper, but that power soul is still a very interesting arm. Obviously once it goes out, does that little bit further, it'll then pop out and could potentially block a little bit extra, but so far it's not been working out for Riffer here. Bit of an interesting arm choice, and so far the explosions are very much confounding Riffer. Does get the self-destruct, so keeps them back in this matchup, but it's still a fair bit ways back, both with rush available, and the explosion, oh no, the explosion took Riffer out of it, and that's exactly what you have to be so careful of. As long as the blast or the missile hits something, it will explode. If it explodes, it is unfortunate, and another rush confirmed, and well, Replicant just needs one more poke from anything to be able to take this into another point. This could be a potential for a little bit of a comeback in and of itself. Replicant with 75% health left finally does get shocked, and Riffer will take this opportunity to grab and throw Replicant through another tube. All Replicant is looking for is just one more poke. Finally gets it with the grab, and it's Replicant who is going to take the initiative here. Could Replicant come back from 1-0 down to send the reigning champion down to the underground bracket? Only time will tell. The MP goes off, but it's just a little too late. Wasn't able to get the stop that they would like to. Riffer switches back to the popper. Clearly, the power soul was just not working out for them. The Tri-Blast and the homie is just sticking with Riffer just a little too much. Every explosion is just still catching him out, and it's killed out so many people in the past. The AoE, you sometimes underestimate how much the explosion covers. Riffer finally gets a chance to ping in with the EMP, but loses it immediately again from the explosion from the homie. The EMP gonna come out again, and the blast again just shakes Riffer from behind. And this is very much KO range for Replicant. As long as the missile can hit, they can potentially KO with a rush. But Riffa is not going to go down without a fight. Another EMP comes out. Homie's going to come through, and again the explosion catches them out just as they pung down on the shield. But the juggle from the rush is going to happen. They don't get the full amount of it though, because it sent Replicant back behind the tube. This is still anyone's game here with 30 seconds left on the clock. Replicant needs to land a successful rush if they want to win this. But they also need to not take a single point of damage from Riffa, who knows just a quick little poke from the popper will be all that they're looking for. You just see Replicant trying to force Riffa into a corner. Another explosion catches them out. Gonna commit to the rush, but it's not gonna happen. Riffa thought about going for a little poke, but not to be. Replicant now has to land a massive, massive blow here, but it's not gonna happen. And Riffa, with 3 seconds to go, will make sure they start with the advantage. And what will Replicant's decision be? The decision is to switch back to that Birchuk. The homie was not working as much as they'd like to. The blast was still very much on point, but the homie was finally being outdone by the Power Soul Popper combination. Riffa gonna hop up that EMP almost immediately. And here we go again. The Birchuk will at least stop the Power Soul in its tracks, but that Popper is still quick. They'll have to be very alert if they want to not only avoid that, but they can't afford to take a rush from them. There's no more tubes to hide behind, so it's got to be deny the rush or commit, massively commit. The popper is going to bounce off the shield for just the time being, as both have their rushes available. Riffa has the health lead at the moment and is going to have to block out the rest of this rush, but no damage taken, just chip and nothing more. The popper is going to send Replicant all the way back. Replicant pretty much on half health. Riffa is not going down without a fight. They're the reigning champion for a reason. They want to defend this title. They want to book their ticket into top 3 no matter what happens. Replicant has it all to do as we pass 40 seconds. Riffa with the health lead and a rush available. But if they keep allowing Replicant to keep firing off with these arms, they'll build the rush back very, very quickly. Another blast is able to connect and send Riffa back down onto the field. And again, the explosion tips it again, and now Rep does have a chance in this. With 20 seconds to go, Riffa is just looking for a moment to just hold on and go for the rush. 10 seconds left on the clock. Riffa has barely a health lead. If anything, it's going to commit to the rush. Replicant's going to hit it. Replicant has 3 seconds left and immediately backs up. They know exactly what they need to do. They're not going to take damage. Riffa is out. The champion is out. The champion is into the underground bracket, and into the top 3 goes Replicant. Oh my goodness! The reigning champion is in the underground bracket. Replicant books their ticket into winners final. They are confirmed to finish in top 3 no matter what happens. What an end to that set! Riffa held on to their rush, but it was the one thing they shouldn't have done. The second the rush came out from Rep knew they had the health lead. They had 3 seconds to go, and they backed straight into the opposite corner, and the stage pick backfires on Riffa. Oh my word. Oh my word. Ooh. And that's just the first semi-final. Okay, Grimwood. Grimwood and Yam, you have a massive amount of... you have some big shoes to fill right now. I mean, no pressure. Oh my word. So our second semi-final match is coming up. It will be Grimwood to go up against Yam. Both these two are no strangers to top 3 finishes. Oh my word. I think we need a moment to just catch our breath there. We just need a moment to just breathe. Because I don't think I can quite believe that we've had 3 matches in a row all go to match number 3. All of them have been surprisingly close, but none have been closer than that. And we're going straight back to DNA Lab. We are literally going to start where we left off at DNA Lab. Oh my word. Okay, Grimwood will be on the left of your screen. Yam will be on the right of your screen. Oh my word. If you're not entertained, I don't know what else to say to you. Grimwood will be coming in with Coil. Gonna come in with a couple of nades by the looks of it. Nah, not just joking. There's gonna be a Coolerang and a nade. Yeah, meanwhile, gonna come in with Ribbon Girl. Coming in with a Chiller and a Birdchuck. So going for an all ice loadout, which is always nice to see. Clearly, they have their idea. They know what they want to do. They want to try and just stop Coil in place. They do not want them to take the high ground and stay there as long as possible. Meanwhile, Grimwood with Coil. Coil has that wonderful ability where every time they charge up an arm, one of the two sides will become a third arm, as you saw there. So it'll either be two Coolerangs or it'll be two nades. And, you know, the double Coolerang is hard enough to avoid as it is, but double nades is just double the explosions. And we've seen what the explosions did in the previous set. As you see right there, immediately, as long as it hits the tube, it'll explode. And Ribbon Girl was just unfortunately in the wrong area at the wrong time. And the Coolerang is going to juggle Yam nicely for 210 damage. Haven't quite got the rush available yet though, so all of this arm pressure from Grimwood so far is paying off. Yam meanwhile trying to use that wonderful mobility that Ribbon Girl does possess, obviously with that double jump, a lot of dashes that they could do, and actually breaks through the tube, hits in with 270 damage and puts them right back into contention for this first initial point. Grimwood using the fact that they can go invisible with Coil if they block for a certain amount of time, just allows them to shift to a specific position, and it becomes a guessing game for which way Coil is going to go from there. And Yam in critical condition, Grimwood with just a little bit of a health lead, just looking for one more poke in these last 15 seconds to see if they can take this away from Yam. But having said that, they've just taken 2 punches, and Grimwood commits to the rush, knowing full well that they cannot allow Yam to get any kind of say in there. The Coolerang will hit. Yes, it was a wasted rush, but at the same time it put themselves into a position where they could fling in with the Coolerang. It got the hit they needed, and it gives them a point in this match. Having said that, Yam on the cusp of having their rush pretty much available here. Grimwood's going to change up loadout completely here. Going to go in for what is essentially triple roaster. Yam with a comfortable rush, 225 with that Chiller and Birdchuck combination. Still going to go ahead and try and stall out this Coil as much as possible. But yeah, like I said, Grimwood coming in with 3 roasters, and yes, they are unguided, but as long as one of those hits, it's big time damage that's being dished out, and it's, well, with 3 gloves means it's more charge for your rush, which is exactly what Grimwood has got up now. Grab is going to come out to try and force Yam away so that they cannot take advantage of that chilled state, and again, you just see the roaster just whizzing by. It's a wonderful thing. Not so much when you're on the receiving end of it. Yam will take 50 damage, and that will be that. So they'll be thankful for that. Predicted that rush pretty nicely. Have Ron ready of their own, and it's going to come out for Grimwood with the Coil. Going to block out pretty much most of that, and hit in with another roaster and keeps Grimwood alive. And another successful roaster hit. Definitely put them right back into contention. Yam only has a sliver of a health lead now, with 30 seconds left on the clock. That's how much damage the roaster can do. It's how quickly it can change. And that one is going to catch them. That does catch Yam just in the nick of time. And the rush is perfect. 330 damage. And with that, Grimwood will take that 2-0 lead in there and leads the set by a point to 0. I've just been told, just been reminded that NA Open Grand Finals was Coil only. I guess this is what happens when evil wins. Anyway, enough of that one said. We are going to see Buster Beach coming out for the first time this stream. So we're going to have a nice breath of fresh air. We've been on the underground for so long. We're finally going to come out to the sunshine. So if you're not great with the sunshine, get your shades on right about now. Yam is going to switch up the characters. So no Ribbon Girl for this match. We're going to see Lola coming out. And you see that Coil does have a dragon in the back if they so wish to use it. And they're actually going to do so now. Dragon Roaster is going to be the combination for Coil. Meanwhile, Lola is going to come in with a Popper and a Sparky. So again, that quick firing arm, along with an arm that we've seen a lot of European players use over the past few months. Basically, if it can hit, it will shock. It's the shortest shock time in the game, but having said that, if you are close enough to the Coil, you can easily punish it. but not when you're on the ground being grabbed like that. And again, it's either 2 roasters or 2 dragons, and nothing is more annoying to dodge than 2 dragons coming at you. It's not great. So the one thing you cannot do against dragons is allow them to play at range, because that's where they are. That's what their strengths are. The dragon's strength is its range. And again, another successful grab. Grimwood doing a lot of long grab commitments and turning them into good positive numbers here. This is a very interesting play for this Coil, but like I said, they're playing from range. They're doing everything that they can do. And the dragon is gonna get a last second snipe. 210 damage, puts Yam into critical, and Yam is, no matter the loadout, no matter the character, it seems nothing can get through Grimwood and this Coil. As of right now, the roaster is gonna come through and poke Yam down. We could be on the cusp of seeing our first 2-0. Our first 2-0 set of the stream. Grimwood immediately started with the grab, but is not going to have any of that. Yam coming out with the rush straight away. Also switching up that arm. Going to bring in the Scorpio this time round, so we're going to see, like you saw, a little bit of poison in there. Poison was up to 1. Grimwood has actually dropped the dragon in favor of, I say double, triple roaster. It's pretty. Let's be honest, it's triple roaster when it's Coil. And that is going to be another successful rush. 250, pops them back into the corner, and immediately starts on the aggressive play. Grimwood has all of the confidence right now to just go in with guns blazing pretty much, and sends Yam straight back down. It's not giving Lola a chance to breathe. It's not giving Lola a chance to be bouncy and do their usual shenanigans. Grimwood is just consistently up in their face with either punches or grabs, and it's just... It seems like there's nothing that Yam can do about it. They can outbox, they can box with the roaster, but they can't seem to punch through. All Grimwood needs is another little grab, and that is going to do it. And that is a 2-0 set. It's our first of the stream today, would you believe it? And it books Grimwood their ticket into the top 3 and into winners final. And for all you Coil haters out there, she's just gonna laugh in your face. That's what she wants you to do. She wants you to hate on her. So, with that being said, it's going to be Grimwood versus Replicant in the winners final. I can't begin to tell you how excited I am for this set. This will be a very interesting set. Whilst we are waiting for all of this to happen, I should probably inform you of everything that's been going off outside of this, because it's been a nutty couple sets of semi-finals we've just had. So, first and foremost, Yam got to their semi-final, by the way, by beating Okrim 2-1. Down in the underground bracket, Okrim beat Penzo 2-1, so another match 3 that went this, another best of 3 that went the distance. Eloya took out Udon 2-0, Kosalina took out Inca 2-0, and Rafa took out Yoshi Bowser 2-0. Going into the underground quarterfinals, we have Okrim versus Eloya. Okrim won 2-0. Rafa versus Kosalina. Rafa won 2 points to 0, so Eloya and Kosalina both dropping out at that stage. Going up into underground... No, sorry, this is underground quarterfinals now. Sorry, my bad. I was underground round 3. This will be underground round 4, which is going to be the quarterfinals. That is Rifa versus Okrim. So reigning champion Rifa will take on Okrim, and Yam will take on Rafa. So at this stage, what I'm basically saying is that if Rifa and Rafa beat Okrim and Yam respectively, they will have a rematch in the underground semi-final. Oh my god. So, if we don't get to that set in time, that rematch might happen off stream. And who knows? Who knows how that's going to play out. But, like I said, we've got Grimwood and we've got Replicant. These two are guaranteed to finish in the top 3, which is huge in a variety of different ways, and I should probably tell you why. Replicant was last in the top 3 in the 7 Cups back in the 38th tournament. That was when they last won it, by the way. Grimwood, likewise, last final appearance was in the 41st cup, so 4 cups ago. However, for Grimwood, this is a bit more important. The last time they won the cup was the 32nd entry. So it has been 13 tournaments since Grimwood has won. In fact, the last time that Grimwood won was their only ever Challenge Cup win. So the stakes couldn't be higher. Replicant is looking for their 3rd ever win. Grimwood is looking for their 2nd. Both want to be in the grand finals so badly. One will get it nice and simple. The other will have to do a little bit more fighting. We are seeing the bands come up now. Hopefully you got a player that you would like to cheer on in the chat. If you do, feel free to spam them in there. It will be awesome to see how this all plays out. So Grimwood is no stranger to making it to the grand finals. Like I said, 4 cups ago they made it, but in terms of the last time they won it, it was Replicant who has won it sooner. Like I said, won it 7 cups ago. So both want that grand final appearance badly. And we are going to see Temple Grounds be our first match. Remember that we are in Winner's Final now. This set is a best of 5. It will be our first best of 5 of the tournament. Replicant, the victor against the reigning champion, to take on Grimwood. This will be an interesting set. I hope you're all sitting comfortably. This is gonna be fun. It will be Coil versus Lollipop yet again. Grimwood will be coming in with the roaster and a nade. Yep, it'll be the nade and the roaster. Thank you very much for getting that one on me. Replicant on the right hand side of your screen is the Lollipop with the Tri-Blast and the Burchuck. So again, no curved arm really on this Lollipop to try and stop the Coil from floating around and doing their thing. Having said that, there is a Tri-Blast. If at least one of those prongs can connect, it certainly gives them that little bit more of a chance of hitting her, as you see right there. And so far both on level health at the moment. Grimwood floating around, doing their usual shenanigans. So it'll be 2 nades or 2 roasters. So basically 2 flaming gloves or 2 explodey gloves. So both trying to play some kind of an explosive game. Lola keeping that central platform, which is the slight elevation, so a little bit more of the higher ground. Both of them like to be in the air. Obviously Coil can stay up there a little bit longer just on the basis of hovering. And so far Grimwood is again just applying this pressure and sees an opportunity. Replicant just a little too close and wasn't able to block out anything and takes the rush to the face. And now just one more poke is all that Grimwood is looking for to try and stop Replicant and send them into a little bit of a disadvantage. Rep does have rush available, but the longer this goes on, the longer they stall this out, the more Grimwood will charge that rush and have it ready for match number 2. At this stage, with about 10 seconds to go, there is no way back for Replicant here. The roaster hit, and that is going to be Coil's first point on the board. And the advantage does kind of lie with Grimwood here, especially with both now having rush available. Replicant is going to drop the Tri-Blast, and it looks like they're going to bring in the Hydra. So instead of the horizontal prongs, we're going to see the vertical prongs coming in. And obviously because it's the Hydra, it's got that little bit of a flame lick to it. So if it is charged, it will just immediately send Grimwood straight down to the floor and allow Replicant to get into a good position. But that was not quite good enough. The rush is fully prepped and blocked by Grimwood. It's going to get a little bit of a freeze from the Burchuck, but again, long enough range away that Replicant can't commit with the grab and takes a little bit of a knock, but thankfully the pushback got them enough time to put the shield up. So no further damage as a result. Both went for a grab, both were denied the grab. And a little bit of a self-destruct there, and obviously with there being 2 nades, it's that little extra moment for you to get the self-destruct off onto the Coil and cause that little bit more of an annoyance, a little bit more damage onto their side. Grimwood trying to again play that little aggressive game, but Replicant again, second time in a row, managed to block this out, but is going to get punished for having that shield up just a little too long, and that grab is going to send them straight back down to earth. This is a very, very close match here. Both are able to predict the rushes. 35 does finally go through. At this point, any kind of damage is a win here for Replicant because it gives them that health lead, but they know just a charged roaster or a charged nade is all that Grimwood needs to just send this right back down to the wire. The Hydra isn't quite going to hit, but with 10 seconds to go, they're both looking for any kind of hit. The arm goes down, and this should be Replicant's point. I don't see Grimwood being able to get anything else onto this in time, and they will not. Replicant will get this to a timeout, and will tie this up one apiece. So the final round is coming up. Grimwood is going to just completely ditch the roaster. We're going for all nades, so that means it's triple nade. Replicant, meanwhile, sticking with the Hydra, obviously working up that little bit better this time around, and also the bird chuck, so it gives them that little bit of an extra mode of attack, and so far it's working nicely for them. They've got more of a target to go for, but another 150 grab is going to make sure that Grimwood keeps the pressure alive. We're just going to bounce harmlessly off the shield for that point, but you know full well that you have to keep that shield up as long as possible if you do not want to get caught in any kind of explosion. The bird truck is going to run through yet again, and it's going to all bounce off that shield once again. Replicant not going to get a single score with that, and leaves themselves wide open. Replicant going to juggle Grimwood in the air, and suddenly it's all control for Replicant here. Just under 75% health. Meanwhile, Grimwood in the critical. They really cannot be allowing themselves to take many more hits than this. Grimwood just about avoiding that rush, the grab for quite nicely in the end. It's going to return with a grab of their own. Replicant down to just about the halfway mark. Grimwood has a rush available, but needs to time this a little better here. So far, Replicant has just taunted them with that shield every single time. And again, Replicant is going to block the rest of that rush again. And comes in with a rush of their own. Not going to connect, but it gives them that kind of breathing space. Grimwood a poke away from going down. And there's the chuck to land it. And Replicant manages to come back from behind there to take this by 1-0. Fantastic work from our wonderful little clown, and she bounces back beautifully to win that match 2-1 and to lead the best of 5 set by 1-0. We're going to see Replicant do a little bit of banning, and we're going to see Grimwood pick a Buster Beach, which is where they won their previous set with. We do have news from the underground bracket. No, we don't have news from the underground bracket. Ignore me. Those matches are still being played as we speak. So, should be pretty interesting. All of these matches that happen, I'm just like keeping my eyes on just in case anything happens. Because any kind of surprise, any kind of shot could still happen whilst we're not looking. Anyway, coming in to match number 2. Replicant leads by 1-0. I'm going to stick with the Lollipop. Going to bring in that Hydra. And they're also going to bring in a Phoenix this time round. So they're bringing in that curved tool to try and deal with the Coil. Coil herself going to bring in a Boomerang. And also going to come back in with those Tri-Blasts. They're going to come in with Tri-Blasts. So very different loadouts here for both of our fighters. The Hydra's still going to be a thorn in Coil's side. And that Phoenix is not going to help their cause whatsoever. They're going to see if they can balance that out with a Boomerang of their own. Obviously, two curved arms coming at you is always better than one. And never mind that, 6 Tri-Blasts coming at you rather than 3 is also a pretty much an annoyance for Lola as well, who herself is also likes to be in the air quite a lot. So Phoenix is going to get a nice little poke in, and the Replicant is not going to be able to avoid that rush. 330 damage. Does have a rush of their own if they get a good chance in, but the Boomerang again sends Lola straight back into that corner. Grimwood distances themselves immediately. And the Boomerang again just floaters on in, just pokes them from behind. It's going to give them a slight health lead, but Replicant can either go for a rush to KO or could just try and keep up this pressure just that little bit more. Nope, Ali's going to go for the rush. We'll juggle them nicely. 190 damage gives them the health lead with 30 seconds to go. Unfortunately, they're just a little too far away from each other here, so both their arms are not quite in the range, but the Hydra finally will. Good placement for the Hydra. Gets the poke they needed. And again, Replicant is going to come in with a nice lead here. I say nicely, they came back from last time round. Now I'm going to go for the Hydra and the Bercher. Got the immediate poke with the Hydra straight away. Grimwood going to switch to triple roaster. Going to box Replicant straight back into that corner. And immediately runs in to another well-placed Hydra from Replicant. I think it's safe to say that Replicant has Grimwood's number here, especially with this coil. The grab just about missing, and that is going to be an overcommitment from Grimwood, punished hard with a 295 rush. The Hydra and Berchuk, unfortunately, it's just proven just to be a little too difficult for Grimwood here to deal with. Grab just about missing, and again the Berchuk hits, and looks like Grimwood is giving up by the looks of it. Yep, Grimwood is throwing in the towel. That is going to be another point to Replicant. Rep will lead this set by 2 points to 0, and Grimwood is going to have it all to do if they want to try and book their ticket into the grand final. They are going to have to do a reverse sweep. We saw some reverse sweepage happen yesterday at the NA Online Open, so Grimwood is going to have to take a leaf out of their book to try and find a way forward. And it looks like we're going to go straight back to Buster Beach. I would not be surprised if Grimwood decides to change character here. And yep. We are indeed. Grimwood has said that's enough. We are going to max Brass. Brass is going to come in with the Coolerang and the Nade. Lola, not really going to change up much. Going to keep with that Hydra and the Phoenix. Pretty much will still work against Brax, especially with the fact that they are both fiery arms. So as long as they're charged up and they hit Grimwood, they will immediately floor them. Otherwise, Grimwood will just, well, you know, they won't even flinch. They'll just come straight back forward. That's the advantage of heavyweight characters. And so far, it's working out okay for Replicant at the moment. The birds are poking through. They're not knocking him down yet. But now Grimwood has got a chance of bulking up. And keep those arms as powered up as possible. Both going to commit to a rush. But it's Grimwood who is unfortunately going to get the worst of it. 195 damage to them. Gets the chance to bulk up, being just a little bit further away from Lola. And seeing if they can throw in any more with the nade. But again, the charged up Hydra going to do exactly what it does best. Run straight through Max Brass and send them down. But now, Grimwood into critical condition. When Max Brass is in this state, it's a perma buff for pretty much everything. And you see that wonderful intimidation just oozing off of Max Brass. But unfortunately, that aggressiveness is not going to help them with defending. The Hydra again pokes on through. And all Replicant is looking for is one more point. And they will have themselves a ticket into Grand Final. Brass is going to come in with not one, but two roasters. Finally does get a poke through. Replicant, I wasn't going to say not really going to switch anything. Feels like the Phoenix didn't work as well for them as they'd have liked to. So they're going to up the ante by bringing in the Berchuk. Able to move cleanly out of the way of Grimwood's rush. And now going to jump in for one of their own. But Grimwood is not going to have any of that. Blocks it themselves as well. Bulks back up. Hopefully trying to find a little bit more of a momentum with these. Obviously, it's a little bit harder to aim with the roasters since they are unguided as a result. And Replicant still has an arm that can absolutely annoy Brass. You know, big characters have big hitboxes and the Hydra will absolutely swallow that up. But the grab is not going to help. 170. But trying to commit to a second grab. Very brave there. But it's going to get run over by a Hydra in the end. Doesn't have rush available, and if they can force Lola into that hot pocket down there, it would not be great for Replicant. They would be the last place they want to be. Which is why you can see them trying to just slide back towards that right hand side, just to kind of give them a little bit of breathing space. The roaster is going to hit, and now they're going to just jump on forward, hit him with the rush, 335. They have the tiniest of health leads right now. And now finally back into the half pocket. Grimwood's advantage has finally been restored. They have to win this, otherwise Replicant will just go through to grand final. It's all to play for here with 10 seconds to go. Grimwood wants to hold on to Rush. You can see that happening. They both trade hits there. The Birdchuck hit with Grimwood, and that's a big hug. Straight into the corner you go. And Brass will probably sign your shirt later after that hug, providing he can win the next point. We're going to see double roasters probably coming out for Grimwood again, because why not? It finally worked. Phoenix will now come out to just annoy Grimwood that little bit more. The Birdchuck was helping, but all he was doing was just slowing Max Brass down, when, let's face it, you want to have Brass on the floor and not slow down. Lola is going to get grabbed not once, but twice. More big hugs for the clown. And we're going to see a lot more of an aggressive Brass here in this match. But the Phoenix and Hydra are finally starting to jump up. But the Roaster Rush will now confirm 300 damage. Sends Replicant into critical. You feel like Replicant is just getting completely pressured here. They're able to poke on through with the Hydra and the Phoenixes, but Grimwood keeps coming back up and goes, I'm not scared of you anymore. I'm coming in with these gloves. I'm coming in with these grabs. I know what I'm doing. And Replicant is a punch away from going down here. And there it is. The Roaster will catch the clown. And Brass is going to take a point away. Grimwood has a point in this set. It's 2-1 in winners final. And, well, he's got muscles for days. We can now tell you what's going on in the underground bracket, and I hope you're ready for a bit of a shock, my friends, because, well, Riffa has beaten Okrim, but the match was 2-1. Literally, the set was a 2-1. Okrim fought Riffa tooth and nail, and Riffa just eking out a 2-1, but crucially here, Yam took out Rafa 2-1. Rafa is out after such a close set with Riffa. Rafa is out of this tournament, losing 2-1 to Yam, so it means the underground semi-final will be reigning champion Riffa versus Yam. Wow, that is unfortunate. So Rafa doesn't make top 4. Doesn't even make top 4, which is a shame because the set between those two was outrageous. It was absolutely amazing, but Rafa is unfortunately out. I hope you enjoyed yourself at the very least, because we certainly enjoyed watching the match. And I hope we can see you again in the future, because I want to see more of that. Like I said, that was a joy to commentate and a half. Anyway, Grimwood has a reverse sweep to do. And you see 2 toasters on that side. What in the world are you planning, my friend? Gonna go for double chillers. So, interesting loadout that Grimwood is going for here. So, double chills to take on Lollipop. Meanwhile, Replicant is coming in. Is that the Nuka-Lola once again? No, it's not. No, it's not. Ignore me. It's the Hydra and the homie. Slightly different. It's a hot missile rather than a double exploding missile. And so far, it's working nicely in either case. The Hydra can run through Brass, and the missile is, well, the AoE explosion will do exactly what it says on the tin. Grimwood's going to get a big hook to keep them back into this match. Double chill is an interesting take. I mean, yes, it can slow down and stop Lola from bouncing all over the place, but I feel like just in terms of the damage... Oh no! Well, Brass, you had nowhere to go with that. The last thing you want to do is take a missile rush to the face, and that's exactly what happened. KO'd Grimwood immediately. And Grimwood is going to bring a toaster into this now, so I'm going to bring up a little bit of a heated glove. Going to keep the chiller to try and just stall out Lola's bouncy shenanigans, but if Replicant does anywhere near as good of a set of a point as that one, it's still an uphill battle. Having said that, Grimwood, Replicant was a little bit scared. They're probably like, "I'm safe here behind this tube. You've chilled me, but I'm safe here." Grimwood just hops around the tube and goes, "Are you now?" and just gives a big hug. Also scores with the rush as well, and Replicant hasn't got theirs charged up yet, and they're already in critical. This switch has definitely helped Grimwood massively here. I haven't said that. They're also playing that a little bit more aggressively as well. That grab would have not helped Replicant whatsoever. A rush would help, but it wouldn't KO at this range yet. They'd have to at least get Grimwood down to half before the missile can properly do its very big damage for the rushes, it must be said. 40 seconds to go. Grimwood has just been punching non-stop. None of the punches have been hitting, but it's charged up the rush regardless. But now the explosions are starting to stack up. Grimwood needs to be a little careful because they know the closer they get to under half health, the closer the Replicant is to getting a very rare and dangerous double missile hit, which can and will KO, and it probably will KO at this range, and Grimwood knows that. 10 seconds to go. They just need to take as little damage as possible here, and you see Replicant just completely psyching them out here. 3 seconds to go. Gets the grab. Isn't going to get any further damage than that. They know that Grimwood was just waiting for the match to end. They weren't going to let that shield down at any point because why would you? You just wouldn't risk it at this point. You just take the grab. And that's exactly what Grimwood did. Going to stick with the Chiller and the Toaster. Replicant not going to drop that missile because they know if they can land it, it's going to be big damage. The Hydra hit, but unfortunately it clipped Grimwood and didn't send them into a good position to follow up. And Grimwood takes the minimal amount of damage as a result. And you see Lola immediately back it up. There's no tubes to hide behind now. They're going to have to try and find a way through. There's one big old beast. The rush is going to come out, but Replicant is not going to get caught by any of that. Chiller comes up and another little poke, and it just sends Lola back just enough to get the grab confirmed. Beautifully done there by Grimwood. Both fully commit to an arms attack. Grimwood has a little bit more to go before they can get their rush up to scratch. Meanwhile, Replicant does have it available. Arm weak on the right hand side though. Grimwood trying to keep the pressure up. The spike going all the way into the corner. And again, gets another 1-2 poke with a charged up Chill Toaster punch. The rush is going to come out. Is that going to be a shield break? Not quite. It's very close to doing so on the right hand side. But Replicant knows with 30 seconds to go, they can still turn this around. This is KO range here if Grimwood is not careful. But gets a big hug. It's exactly what they needed. One more poke is all Grimwood is looking for. The rush comes out. But it's not gonna happen. Grimwood takes the minimal amount of damage. Chip and nothing more with 10 seconds to go. This could be going to match 5, my friends. The Hydra hits. It could still end up changing. You never know. 5 seconds. Grab will hit. Is that going to be enough to take it? No, it's not. Grimwood is going to take it by millimeters, if that. We are going to match 5 in winners final. Because of course we are. Oh, I hope you like potential reverse sweeps, because we might be about to see one. And guess what, my friends? Making its first appearance of the stream today, it's Scrapyard, the other counter pick stage is finally coming in. It's 2-2 in winners final. It's 2-2 in winners final. Oh my goodness me, what is happening here? Replicant was 2-0 up and is now facing down the barrel of a 3-2 loss, but they have to do this beautifully. And obviously Lola loves Scrapyard. Lola's a very bouncy character in and of itself, and you've got some very high vantage points in this stage that Lola will just happily bounce around, well, for as much as she wants to. She's also got 2 pillars to also protect herself around, and she's going to come in with a roaster and a homie. Grimwood, meanwhile, is going to actually bring in a popper here. Toaster and popper. So the popper is going to be a very quick arm to try and poke and just try and stop Lola from doing her usual shenanigans. If it can also hit before the rush can even take effect, it would be a very good tool for Grimwood to use here, but we're going to see how this all plays out. So far, they have the lead. They're actually playing this beautifully, dancing around the pillars. The popper, I don't think Replicant was expecting Brass to come out with this. The rush is going to connect, and that is going to be a big 300 damage, and Replicant is already in danger. The grab is going to come out. Where is this coming from Grimwood? Replicant is into critical, big time damage. All they're looking for is one more poke, Grimwood, and they'll take the initiative in this match. Could you have believed this when they were 2-0 down? Replicant does have a rush available, but they're not going to probably use that anytime soon, not unless they can get Grimwood down to half health. 40 seconds to go, they're just dancing around this pillar. Grimwood isn't going to matter so much here because it just gives them a little bit more time to charge up their rush. They're just looking for one more poke, but Replicant is finally getting into the swing of things. The rush will come out. Massive damage. 510 damage, I think that was. Send Grimwood on the cusp of critical. Replicant has pulled that back beautifully with 10 seconds to go now. How will this play out? Grimwood knows they cannot take a grab this time round. A grab would be the last thing they need. A little bit of a hit. Grimwood goes for the bounce. Commits to the rush. Interesting choice there, but you knew Grimwood did not want to throw away that point, so they went for the rush just to make sure the Replicant couldn't do anything else. Replicant has half the charge. Grimwood has to do it from the get-go. Gonna bring in a Chiller now to go alongside that Popper. Meanwhile, Replicant gonna bring in the Hydra. Clearly, the Roaster was not doing as much as they'd have liked it to, and it's gonna be the Hydra this time round. Replicant has it all to do, but having said that, they are gonna have that rush charged up first. The Chill is going to connect, and the grab will come out big time. 400 damage, not the 500 this time round. The Grimwood already down to half health, so plenty to claw back here, but gets another Chiller. Replicant was probably expecting the grab, which is why the move happened. And Replicant, just like that, is down to half health as well. So this could still go either way here. Grimwood's going to get caught by a missile, but Replicant gets caught by the Popper. Almost in KO range. That is KO range. That is KO! Reverse sweep! Reverse sweep has happened! Grimwood has came from 2-0 down in this set. Dead and buried. Switches to max brass. Charges onto the other end. It's a coast-to-coast win. It's 3-2 to Grimwood. And he is in the grand finals. Replicant is down to on the grand final. What a set. What a set. Today has been a tournament that, if you are new to this scene, if you are new to ARMS, and you are watching this for the first time, this is the tournament to watch. My word, this has been close from start to finish. The only match that wasn't close was Grimwood versus Yam, which was a 2-0 set. Everything else was just, oh my god. This has been unbelievable. And we're not finished yet. We are nowhere near finished yet. We are now going to the Underground semi-final. The Underground semi-final is coming up, and it will involve Riffa, the reigning champion, to go up against Yam. This is for a place in top 3. It's all to play for here. Oh my goodness me. We're gonna start off on Temple Ground. We're just gonna fully run in at every possible length here. Oh. You have no idea how happy this girl is right now to be able to call in some of the closest matches I've ever seen in the European ARMS community. We're gonna have Riffa Springtron on the left of the screen, Yam on the right of the screen, coming in with Bite and Bark. Gonna come in with a Boomerang and a Seeky. So if you thought that normal explosion was a big thing, this one's gonna be an electrical explosion. So massive risk, massive reward if it can happen. And already you can see it just trying to sneak around the Tron. Bite and Bark, that wonderful little combination where if they've got the Lolo Doggo at their disposal, they can use them to jump even higher. And also Bark just throws out a random uncharged toaster every now and then, just to try and help out, just to do their best, because they're a good dog. The Seeky is going to get a quick little poke in. There's a full guidance system just like the other missile. Yam does have Rush already available to them, but it's going to get caught by a Boomerang. Riffa, the reigning champion, not in any mood to be conceded much health, let alone many hits. The Popper is going to fire in with the Rush, and the Thunderbird will keep Yam down. Yam on the cusp of critical, trying to actually box right up in front of Riffa, and to be fair, it worked for a little bit. The missile couldn't get the follow-up poke they wanted. Oh, the grab just missing Riffa, which is a little too far to the left. That would have been a great punish there for Yam as the missile went off, but unfortunately, just unfortunate placement there. The explosion gonna try and cause that little bit more of distraction. Bark does finally go down. Yam is actually still very much alive in this match. The grab just about missed it from Riffa. Shield break, trying to try and see if they can break through it, but no, not going to happen on this occasion. Rush has been unfortunately wasted. I'm weak on both sides of the things. Can't unfortunately find the shield break. It's a very hard combination to do with. They both lost an arm with 2 seconds to go. But the damage has been done. Riffa is going to take the initiative in this set. So yeah, I'm gonna switch things up a little bit. Gonna bring in a toaster now to go alongside that Seiki. Meanwhile, Riffa gonna come in with the Parasol and also gonna stick with the Thunderbird. Again, a little bit of an interesting choice. The Parasol is still a bit of a quick tool, but again, that grab is gonna come straight on through. Catches Yam off guard. Pretty much all the pillars are pretty much down at this point, and the rush is gonna come out. Yam has nowhere to go. Flung them just a little too far to the left, hence why Riffa couldn't do a little follow-up. There is still one pillar over on that far side, but neither of them are really going to take full advantage of that at this point. Yam with a rush again available. Needs to decide when they want to try and commit to it. Goes for it now, but is going to get poked out of it by the Parasol. Another rush wasted, and Riffa with control yet again. Just about stopping the missile from coming through. Bark down once more, so Yam still not able to really utilize Bite and Bark's wonderful duality, because every time Bark is up, Riffa is making sure that that dog stays down as much as possible. Parasol gets another quick little 1-2. EMP goes up, baits out Yam. Bark at least takes the hit, so Yam doesn't get any further damage, but again, with 20 seconds to go, all Riffa is looking for is one more poke or a timeout, and that will suffice. Riffa's still just over half health. Yam has 12 seconds to find a way back into this. The missile rush could do something, but so far Riffa has had a read for everything. The Thunderbird will go through, and that will be lead for Riffa. The reigning champion leads the set by a point to 0. Remember, Yam is no stranger to top 3s themselves. They have came second twice, they have came third twice. The last top 3 appearance was 2 cups ago, but you know, anything can happen, especially when you go up against a fighter like Riffa. Via Dulce is going to be the pick, so we're going to see Via coming back in yet again as a counter pick. Yeah, I'm not going to switch from Bite and Bark. They're committed. They are committed to the good cop, good boy combination. And what is going to be the call this time for Yam? It's going to be a Scully. A Scully will go alongside that Seiki this time round. Riffa has all the time in the world, just like with Min Min on this stage. Because of the way it is shaped, it gives both Min Min and Springtron enough time to either do the Dragon Arm or do the EMP. And this is exactly what Riffa wants to keep up, but is going to jump into a missile, and that's going to negate that pretty quickly. The Scully is a very quick arm in this game. It's got a poison ability, so it can stack the poison on Springtron if needed. But unfortunately, when you're stuck in a corner like that, especially against the combination that Riffa has, where the charged up arms are wind elements, you're just going to be juggled there for days. And Poison Stack is finally going to poke on through, but the self-destruct on the Seiki, shocking Yam. Yam going to try and take it to the air, with Bark finally being able to use its ability just a little bit. But again, Riffa piling on the pressure. Going to be another successful rush, 320 damage. And Yam already in critical. Going to try and go for the rush, but it isn't going to get it. Once again, Riffa has a read on it and is able to stop it dead in its track. And again, Riffa just has complete control over this set. And now just looking for one more point to book their ticket into top 3. And to book themselves into a match yet again with Replicant. Riffa not actually going for the EMP this time round, coming in with that Popper Parasol combination. Yam has fully dropped the Seiki now and is coming in with a Boomerang to go alongside that Scully. EMP finally goes out. These are just 2 very quick arms that Riffa has anyway. The Scully may be quick, but it's also one of the lighter arms in the game, and it gets poked through by pretty much everything else. And Yam is at least going to shield themselves out and actually gets a successful poke with the Scully. They'll be proud of that one at the very least. Jumping over the Power Soul, trying to force Springtron into a corner of their own. Does connect with the Scully and with the Boomerang, sends Riffa back down to 285. So far, this is working much better in their favor. Dropping the CQ was probably the best thing they could have done. It was slowing them down, and Riffa was able to get around it every single time. And now Yam is finally looking at turning the momentum on its head. Riffa is still just knows that they can get a few good reads, and that combination will just tick on over for them, especially with another rush already on the back. But having said that, Riffa is the one who finds themselves in critical. The grab will send Yam into KO range. The Boomerang nearly KO'd. This is very careful here for Yam. Yam just cannot afford to take the rush, but it's gonna do so. They had Riffa almost to KO. But like I said, this is the reigning champion we're talking about. The second they knew they had the rush, all they needed was a couple more pokes, and that was going to seal it for them. It is a 2-0 set. It's a rarity in this tournament today at the very least. But with that, Riffa eliminates Yam from this competition and moves forward. Oh boy, here we go. So, best of 5s from here on out. Best of 5s from here on out. And it's going to be... oh, it's going to be a wonderful set. It is Riffa, the reigning champion, versus Replicant in the Underground Final. Oh my word. This is going to be one of those sets, isn't it? So, when we come back, because I need to fill my bottle up with water, because this has been a nutty tournament. I need to get a refill of drink. You should probably get a refill of drink as well. We will be right back. And when we do so, we've got the Underground Final and the Grand Final to come. Strap yourselves in, everyone. This is not going to be straightforward in the slightest. I will see you all in a couple minutes. Okay, everyone, we are back, and I think We are ready to go. We are ready to go. This is the underground final between Riffa and Replicant. Replicant was able to best Riffa in the semi-final, 2 points to 1. A very interesting and close match between the two of them. And now we see ourselves here in the underground final. It's not a best of 3 anymore, it's a best of 5. As we start ourselves off with Lola on the right for Replicant and Springtron on the left. It's going to be Popper and Thunderbird versus the Triblast and Homie. So we are now going for that Nuka-Cola Loadout. And on a stage like Mausoleum, very simple, straightforward stage, nowhere to hide. Obviously, you've got the central platform, but let's face it, neither of these really want the trampoline to be on show. And another Triblast connection onto Riffa is going to give Replicant a bit of a health lead here for the initial starting point. And so far, Springtron doesn't really have a say in here at the moment. The poppers are just being stopped completely every single time because they're easy enough to box through. And the Thunderbird isn't getting around the missile or the Triblast in time. And another little poke from the explosion. Finally, Replicant does take a point of damage, so no perfect this time round, but that is a near perfect for Replicant. And again, Triblast, Springtron trying to play a bit too aggressively, and Replicant is going to start with the point initiative. Riffa going to try and stick with that Popper and Thunderbird combination. Replicant ain't gonna change what's not broke. Rush is going to come through, and Replicant gets the shield up just in the nick of time. Both arms now weak on either side. EMP comes out, stops the disarms the missile, but didn't disarm the Triblast, which is why Replicant immediately followed through with it. And Riffa was not able to take advantage at all. Rush is going to come out, and it catches Riffa. Gets about 250 there, I think, at the very least. And even if just one missile explosion catches you, that's still sometimes on average the same amount you would normally expect from a rush anyway. So that's not a bad rush for Replicant because they still at least got damage on there, and it's big damage at that. Riffa has a rush ready to go as well again. And unfortunately, trying to bait our Replicant instead gets punished for the overuse of that shield. Didn't go for the rush of their own in time. And the pressure is very much on them here, especially now with Replicant having the rush of their own ready to go. Thunderbird and Popper sends them straight back down to the ground. That's going to be picked out of mid-air with 30 seconds to go. Replicant knows that they have a slight lead. They have the rush on hand if they need to use it. Riffa on the cusp of going into critical. And really needs a good set of plays here, a good combination. Got a self-destruct, but was probably going for the grab, and that is going to be a massive explosion right into Springtron's face. And that is going to give Replicant the lead, proving without a shadow of a doubt that what they did in the semi-final was not a fluke. They will start with the 1-0 advantage. And Riffa has it all to do if they want to retain their title here. So Riffa not pleased with one of those plays. I think the play we know he's probably going to have a little bit of a question mark over was the disarm, because he thought he got both of them. I think the Triblast got back just in the nick of time, and the missile hadn't quite retracted, so the missile definitely got caught in the EMP. The Triblast was a massive question mark, but it looked to me like it had made its way back before the EMP triggered. So sometimes it's a luck at a draw. Sometimes if the game says this is what happened, you can't really argue with it. Sometimes it's lagged, sometimes it's just how it goes. So in this occasion, it's going to go the way of Replicant, but this is Riffa we're talking about. Riffa will bounce back, even though they're not playing as Lola. Oh, that pun didn't quite work the same way, did it? But it's okay. Riffa is going to come back out with that Popper. Going to come in with the Power Soul this time round. And, well, Replicant isn't really going to switch anything from their good old explodey goodness. I'm going to see if they can commit to an even bigger lead against Riffa. They've already started with the first damage on the board, but you know, whilst it's always nice to get those first points there, it's never the whole story. It's never as simple as that. Another big explosion, going to catch Riffer off of guard right in midair. The blast is going to poke on through, and as long as one of those prongs are hitting Riffer and just stalling them out bit by bit, it starts stacking up, and you just cannot afford to take many more of those hits, especially with the coverage that it has. It's why a lot of people use the blast quite regularly, especially with the added kick that the explosion has on the field. The homie is able to at least stop the power soul from coming out every single time. It just negates the entire thing. Riffer having rush available, and again caught with another one of those tri-blast bolts. This, like I said, it deals the bolt damage first, and if it's charged, it will explode straight afterwards. And Riffer is gonna finally catch a juggle. 295 with the rush, sends Replicant down. EMP finally up, gives them that little bit of extra movement, that little bit of extra oomph to their attacks, but it's gonna see it negated immediately by another charged up tri-blast. And now early it's up to Replicant to decide if they want to commit to a rush with these next 20 seconds, or just let time play out and keep some form of advantage going into the next point. And it looks like they'll probably do exactly that. Another explosion hits. 7 seconds to go. Riffer throws in the towel. That's going to be another grab, and Replicant will have rush readily available to go at the start of this next point. This is shaping up to be an amazing end to this competition. Replicant with rush available. Riffer going to come back in with that Thunderbird. The Power Soul clearly not doing anywhere near the amount of work they would have liked it to. Finally does get a good hit with the Popper and has rush up and ready to go as well. EMP is up, which is exactly what Riffer needs. No disarmaments this time around because they were just wanted to get it activated ASAP. Last of the pillars are finally go down. It's an open playing field, and Rep caught out again. Riffer not in a good position to go for the rush. Replicant is going to try theirs as well, but not gonna happen on this occasion, and the arm is gonna go down, and this time it will be a free rush. Nothing that Replicant can do, and that's gonna be pretty much half damage already. Replicant has a mountain to climb here if they want to take this any further. Gonna get caught with a pop and another shock, and you see the momentum finally swinging in Riffer's favor. This Thunderbird Popper combo, at least on Temple Ground, is working significantly better than it did on Mausoleum. Replicant has just no answer for it at the moment. Riffer almost with another rush ready to go. They'll take that advantage into the next point if that ends up being the case. But Replicant will not go quietly into the night. They're probably going to want to try and charge up a rush of their own so they can at least start it on level terms. And then just comes down to what arm they'll come out with. Popper finally does connect on through. And Riffer with a near perfect this time round. Pretty much took barely any damage at all there. So what will be the call here? I don't think Riffer will change much. No, they will not. And Replicant is going to go big or go home. Not straight away, obviously. They still have the advantage. But a nade and a homie. This is just explosion central right now. Both with rush obviously available at the start of this point. And the self-destruct is going to send Replicant down. So Riffer will start with the initial lead and will get a grab to further cement that. This is exactly what Riffer needed. And it's going to send Replicant all the way back over. But now the rush comes out, and this will be big explosion. Massive explosion. 395 damage. It was exactly what Replicant was looking for. Puts them back in this match. But now they have to successfully get the read on when Riffer is going to come in with their next point. Their next point. Their next rush. You get the general idea. Here it comes now. 295 damage is going to be the call. And we're going to see it just bounce off of the ankles at the time of asking. Replicant has it all to do. They are in critical. Having said that, they're also going to be the closest to getting a rush up. Any kind of rush confirm would probably start swinging it into their favor, especially if the missiles can hit. The explosions are just landing at Riffer's feet, and this is dangerous now. This is KO range. The Popper is doing its work, but Replicant is edging back in bit by bit by bit. Riffer trying to get a shot with that Thunderbird. It's not coming through. The Popper is not going to connect, but neither will this rush. It's going to be avoided. Riffer sends Replicant all the way back and has rush. They can stall this out beautifully now if they can commit to it. And there it is. Riffer gets the point that they were looking for. They tie up the set one apiece. It's exactly what they needed. And yeah, like I said, this is going to be anything but straightforward. Alright, we are going to now go off to Bust the Beach for match number 3. And it's going to be pretty much a similar kind of loadout, except for the fact that Replicant is going to drop that missile now. I think Riffa has got it all pretty much figured out. It's going to be Burchuck and Tri-Blast now for Replicant. Meanwhile, Riffa not going to change up anything whatsoever. That Popper and that Thunderbird is always a good go-to combination. As we start ourselves with match number 3, the bolts finally do flinging on through. The grab is going to miss, and that's going to be a free exploding opportunity for Replicant, not once, but twice getting the good confirm of that. Riffa only halfway on their charge. Replicant already has their rush available. Well, they decide to blink early on and use it to just fortify that little lead. Yep, they're going to go for it right now. But Springtron has the read on it. Arm weak on that right-hand side, though, if the pressure can come up that little bit more. Replicant had the wherewithal to get that sidestep. Riffa, knowing full well they couldn't take full advantage of it, activates the EMP instead. Gives them a chance to really get themselves back into this, despite not getting anything with the rush. Clips them with the Thunderbird. Drops Replicant to their knees. Replicant with still a decent health lead and gets a nice big-time grab. Sends Riffa into the corner on the cusp of critical. The Thunderbird, unfortunately, just kind of sliding across the floor there. Just couldn't go any further than that. Just completely stops the momentum there. You just see the bird just stop before it can fully get any further. It's what happens when you have those kind of arms. It tracks where the fighter is, and if it can't go low enough to meet them, it just kind of comes to a dead stop. Riffa knows full well they can't get there. They'll have a little bit of a dance off. Who do you reckon won that dance off? Leave your comments in the chat. Leave your vote in the chat. Who was the better dancer there, Springtron or Lollipop? In either case, Lollipop will take the point for having the most amount of health left after the time expired. Not going to change anything. Riffa, meanwhile, Thunderbird, Power Soul is going to be the choice this time around, seeing if this can work any better. So far, those bolts are still proven to be a little bit more of a nuisance, and the Burchuck does give Replicant a couple of different modes of attack. Can attack differently in the air and also on the ground, which is why they're making good use of that. And naturally, the bolts are just timed to perfection. Riffa just, unfortunately, every time they think they've got a good move around, they're straight into another one, and unfortunately couldn't jump any further than that wall, and the Burchuck caught them. And that's another good rush from Replicant. Good grab from Riffa as well. Springs on up. Replicant didn't quite get the punish on the first go round, but actually got it on the second time of asking. That is impressive to commit to that a second time, knowing full well that Lola can bounce up there. Got away with the first one, and Riffa got nothing from that whatsoever. Managed to bag on through. Somehow the bolts did not hit on the wake up. I'm pretty sure one of those should have hit. But again, the game just says no on this occasion. Arm weak on the left-hand side. Just got faded away though, so Riffa won't mind that too much. But they are on the cusp of critical with 22 seconds to go. Make that they are in critical condition. And, well, Replicant pretty much needs anything. Literally just breathe on the machine and you'll pretty much get the KO. 10 seconds to go, and there it comes. There it comes. Replicant is going to lead this set by 2 points to 1. Sends the Springtron down. And the reigning champion is a match away from losing their title. So, once again, it will be Replicant stages to ban, Riffa's stage to pick. Now, obviously, Riffa picked Temple Grounds last time round. It worked out nicely for them, but they still had to fight for that. Replicant not shying away from that whatsoever. And Temple, again, is indeed going to be the choice of Riffa. So, our reigning champion knows full well that this will be the last time they have the advantage here, because if they win this, Replicant will then be picking the next stage, and you know full well the Replicant probably won't mind going back to Buster Beach since they love it so much. So, Springtron versus Lollipop. Will this be the last time, or will this be the penultimate time? We are going to find out. Riffa, Thunderbird Popper, Replicant, Tri-Blast Burchuck. This time round, we're not going to see the missile coming out on this stage, so it could go differently. But if it starts like that, then it's probably going to be in Riffer's favor. A good start, completely got the shot, got the grab, and also got the charged up popper hit. 3 out of 3 for Riffer, as we now start dancing. Replicant already at a bit of a handicap here. Another EMP actually gets the disarm on the Burchuk, but the Tri-Blast just about stopping the popper from going through. Expertly done there from Replicant. They had to make sure they took no further damage. Riffer still actually taken anything. Finally does. And as soon as I open my mouth, Commentator's curse and all that jazz. Burchuk is going to get popped just about out of field there. Riffer and Rep both with rushes available as we tick down past a minute. Riffer very much in a comfortable position, but they can't afford to be pinned in this corner, especially with a potential shield break on the cards here. I'm weak on that right hand side. It's down. Replicant knows it's free real estate there. And that is going to be all the way through. Riffer now going to come out with a rush of their own, but it's going to be chip damage and nothing more. So providing Replicant can... Oh no! They got caught by the EMP again! It's the Burchuk that went down once again. And they were not able to do anything with that. And the Burchuk goes down again! Riffer with 3 successful reads of the EMP in this match alone. And with 10 seconds to go, Replicant knows that whatever lead that they did have is probably well and truly gone. There's the KO at the 1 second mark. Replicant will be kicking themselves for that. They got disarmed 3 times in that point. And Riffer will start with the lead. Neither will really have advantage here since they're both on a similar rush charge. And Replicant says, you know what, let's bring back the missile. So 2 pillars left just on that right hand side of Replicant. And the missile is going to go down again. Riffer is getting better and better with these EMP disarms here. It's impressive to see. Riffer at full health. Replicant only had a little bit of a nick so far, so it's still early days. But Riffer knows full well they cannot take too many hits from that missile. Yes, it's uncharged, it doesn't do much damage, but just give it time. Popper is finally going to land, but unfortunately the bird bounced off the pillar. So no further damage on that rush. The grab also not connecting. Replicant was still in the process of getting back up, so the grab did not register. And now Riffer needs to be careful. Knew they were being forced in the corner, quickly switches that away. But Replicant, you can see, trying to force Springtron into a position where they can't move anywhere else. And it will be a great opportunity to try and go for a rush of this magnitude. And out it comes, and this will connect, but it'll only be 260 on this occasion. Riffer hit the floor just a little too quick. But it does mean that they are both on similar health, and Replicant this time around timing the counter beautifully. Waited patiently for the EMP to really go off, then flew the Tri-Blast in. And Riffer had no response for it this time. 20 seconds to go, and both took a little bit of damage there, but it's the rush finally going to come out for Riffer. Replicant just ticks under half health. The EMP goes up, 10 seconds to go. Pillar is going to go down. Replicant knows they can probably take a good couple of hits here. The grab will come out. It does send Replicant into critical though, so it depends. It is... Oh, I was half expecting the game to turn around and say that that was a draw, but it is going to go to Lola in the end. The game says, no you do not. The grab just didn't quite get down the millimeters it wanted. And it means it's 1 apiece in here. It does mean that this is set point for Replicant if they can find a way back against Riffer at this stage. Rush is going to come out, and this is going to hit massively this time around. 305 damage. It means Riffer is pretty much on the cusp of half health, and Replicant knows they just need to get some good connections with these bolts, and already the 1-2 combo is helping them nicely. Rush is going to come out, but Replicant is going to get the shield up. Both arms weak. They should fade away if the pressure is not kept. Riffer quickly goes back to EMP up. Now coming onto the offensive with the Popper and the Thunderbird, both charged up. Both firing on full cylinders. It'll wear off sooner or later. There it goes. It just depends on when Riffer wants to try and go for the EMP again. But having said that, they're also in KO range. Pretty much anything will just seal it if it can connect. The blast hits. One more poke for Replicant, and the reigning champion is out of this tournament. They're bouncing, they're flying, they're looking for an opportunity. The bird is going to come through with a quick little 1-2. Grab comes out. Now the rush is ready for Riffer, but they've still got a lot of work to do in these next 25 seconds, and they dodged into the missile! They sidestepped into the missile, which explodes in their face, and the reigning Challenge Cup champion Riffer is out of the tournament. Replicant makes sure they go no further. Riffer will finish in 3rd position, and Replicant is in the grand final. It's a 3-1 set for Replicant. Riffer will not be winning their 11th title today. It will stay as 10 and go no further than that. It's the 5th time that they will end this competition in 3rd. But crucially, the grand final will consist of Grimwood versus Replicant. Alright, so for those of you who are new here, here's how this is going to work. Replicant has fought up from the underground bracket. Grimwood has booked their ticket into grand final from the winners bracket. If Replicant is able to beat Grimwood, it will be a bracket reset, because that will be Grimwood's first set loss. And we'll do another best of 5 in a grand final reset. If Grimwood is able to beat Replicant here, and now the championship goes to Grimwood, there will be no reset, it will be as simple as that. Replicant is fighting for their 3rd ever Challenge Cup win. Grimwood is fighting for their 2nd ever. Replicant last won this 7 cups ago. Grimwood last won this 13 cups ago. It's anyone's game. And this is going to be a fantastic end to this tournament. We are going to go to Mausoleum to start this set off. Get that hype up in the chat. Get those emotes spammed as much as you want. Go crazy for whichever player you're supporting. Replicant is coming in with the Lollipop. Grimwood is coming in with Twintel. Best of luck to you both. Here we go. Replicant coming in with the Hydra and the Seeky. So they're going to go for that big electrical explosion. Grimwood, meanwhile, with the Twintel, coming in with the Chakram and the Chiller, already getting caught by the AoE explosion, which is not how you want to start off. Twintel with that slow motion effect, the Actress Aura, which just slows everything down just that little bit, gives Grimwood a little bit of time to decide what they want to do, whether they want to shield, whether they want to sidestep. You get the general idea. Arm weak on that left hand side, but does finally go down. And after a bit of a nervy start, Grimwood is finally starting to find their momentum again. And it's always interesting seeing Grimwood play someone that isn't Brass. We saw them play as Coil for most of this tournament up until we got to the until winners final, and then they reverse 3-0'd with Max Brass, because of course they did. So seeing them come out with Twintel, we'll see how well they do with this, but so far the Hydra is just running completely through them, and the rush, whilst the Hydra does hit, the missile wasn't able to go any further, and a good counter rush from Grimwood. Played it nice and patiently. Gonna actually fling the Chakram just around the Hydra, and Replicant quickly waddles on backwards. Oh, the AoE again, catching Grimwood out. Thought that it was gone, but it was not. If it's just lingered for just that little pixel, it can still shock you. You have to be so careful with it. And with that arm weak on the left hand side, this is a lot of pressure. Replicant's putting them under. They know if a shield breaks, oh, it's the traded punch. That traded punch, unfortunately, not helping Grimwood in the slightest. Going to commit to a double chiller routine this time round, whereas Replicant will keep with the Hydra and the Seeky. Again, not really going to see anything happen there. Double chiller will try and just stall out the loader if it can hit. But if it doesn't, then Replicant gets pretty much free territory here to just bounce around and do whatever they want to do. Hydra is going to run straight onto that shield, but no rush confirm this time around, just like our last time around as well. On weak on the right hand side, if Replicant can get another couple pokes on there, the toes naturally making sure that Grimwood goes straight down onto the floor. Grab almost connecting, but Replicant, again, just being a bouncy little fiend, making sure they can't get hit. The chiller finally does come through, so they're perfect on this occasion, and Grimwood still has it all to do. Tries to play up close and personal, finally gets the grab through, but look at how much health that they have to work through if they want to get that far. Gets another chill, actually caused a self-destruct there as well, so Replicant just hit the deck almost immediately. And Grimwood again trying to find a moment to try and go for that rush, but every time they feel like they've got Replicant cornered, there's not really an edge to force someone back into, since it just continues to loop around. It's that kind of stage. And Replicant will be at half health here, but they know if they can land at least one missile with this rush, they will poke on through. 330 damage, but it's not enough for the KO, not on this occasion. And the Hydra, slow or not, is going to finally peek on through the Twin Tail, levels them down, and that is going to be lead right there for Replicant. Our fighter from the underground bracket will take the initiative and lead the set by a 0-0. And Grimwood, again, already knows exactly where they want to go. The bands came up, didn't see the stage on there. We're going to bust the beach. Now, this all comes down to whether or not Grimwood decides to want to play anyone else. In fact, Grimwood is going to spring in a Min here. Grimwood is coming out with the slacks tactics of switching switching fighters every single time. Now we're going to see a Min coming out here. Replicant going to come in with the Burchuck and the Hydra. Grimwood going to go double chiller. So, as for anyone who's watched earlier, Min-Min's wonderful ability is to permacharge the left arm up. So as long as they stay standing, that will be permacharged up. The glove will be that little bit bigger for quite some time. And with this being the chiller, it means that they are definitely going to land a little bit more consistently against the Lola. It's still an interesting one to go for, but having said that, Replicant has also switched out the missile and is caught immediately. Min way too far away to go for that grab. That was a very long range grab that Replicant just easily shuts down. But Grimwood is so far keeping that distance. The Burchuck is going to finally connect through, and now it's Grimwood's turn to do the punching through the long range grab attempts. Hydra will finally run through Grimwood, and in fact the Hydra is a very convenient tool to use here, because the second it's charged up, it can just fling on through, and Grimwood will have to charge up that arm yet again, but they got it charged immediately. Tried to go for a quick punish grab off rep, but unfortunately not going to happen. But the sort back to a rush of their own keeps them on pretty much level health here. The shield is going to ping Replicant all the way back into that corner. 30 seconds to go, both very much on the same kind of health here. Who has the lead at this situation? I think it might be Grimwood by millimeters. Now I think it might be Replicant. Now it's definitely Grimwood as Rep drops down into critical. Grimwood knows they just need one more grab. If they can make it land, the chill will do exactly that. Tried to go for a last second Ice Chain KO, but not going to happen on this occasion. 8 seconds to go. Grimwood could probably take a grab, but it's okay. Lola jumps straight into the chiller and ends that round for them. So it is going to be a point to Grimwood using this Min. And what are we going to see this time around? Thought about switching to the Tri-Blast, but it's instead going to tick to chillers. No, we are going to see the Tri-Blast, and it is going to be on the Dragon Arm as well. Immediately double backed. Replicant was I guess hoping that they wouldn't do that, but unfortunately that's exactly what's happened. However, the chiller has negated that immediately. As long as it can hit, it just negates Min-Min's ability. It does that with quite a lot of other arms as well. 250 from the rush, so Grimwood at least gives themselves a little bit of time. The second Replicant hits the deck, you know that the Dragon Arm is immediately going to get charged up because, well, you've got the time to do so. Why the heck not? And so far, just dancing around this this Burchuck combination. The rush does break the shield, finally deals, I think, 45 damage in the end, but Grimwood will take that knowing full well that they've pretty much charged their rush almost back up as well. Blast is going to just get nicked just a little bit there. So Replicant not going to take any damage from it. 50 seconds to go, and like I said, Grimwood already with the rush back up the scratch. Hydra gets a little poke, thankfully not charged, so Min Min doesn't hit the deck immediately. And they're doing very well so far. Min Min's a very agile character, so that's why they're able to just quickly nip around quite a lot of these hits. As long as they can pass one set of barrage from the Hydra, they can position themselves beautifully for a rush like this. 300 exact on that. And Replicant, though, has forced Grimwood back down into the corner. See if they can do this little pressure dance once again. Shield could be broken if they commit to a rush here, especially on that left-hand side, but doesn't actually go for it. Now does go for it, but the explosion catches them! The AoE explosion for the Tri-Blast completely took Replicant by surprise. Will fire off with a grab. Now, where does this put them? I think that gives Replicant the lead, and it has done! Replicant takes it! Replicant got another hit with the Hydra just to make sure it's one apiece here now. And Grimwood gonna drop the Tri-Blast, gonna come in with a Roaster instead now. Beautifully done by Replicant, is exactly what they needed to do. The grab just about swung it in their favors, and the Hydra hit made absolutely sure no other shenanigans were going to happen. Both missing with their respective grab. The Roaster unguided, so this will be incredibly harder to hit with this weapon, but if it can hit, as it does there, it's a lot of damage and will immediately floor Lola straight down. But then again, Replicant has the Hydra to do exactly that, and the rush will come out. Grimwood again, another successful conversion. 305 keeps them alive in this match, but if they keep getting tagged by this Hydra, they're going to see their lead immediately vanish, and that's going to be another rush hit for Replicant. Big time damage on the cusp of critical now. Make that in critical. And Replicant, instead of going for the grab, tried to commit to a quick 1-2 combo, hoping that Grimwood would drop the shield. They didn't, and they're still in this match just about. They've got the Dragon Arm back up, so the Roaster can still be a threat, but not if you get knocked down by the Hydra like that. One more hit is pretty much all Replicant is looking for. The Chiller leads into a charged Roaster hit. Now, Grimwood with rush, they're going to see if they can commit and bait out a mistake from Replicant, but they're playing very dangerously here. They actually commit. They do find the hit, and it won't be a KO. It's not enough for a KO. The rush will come out, and that was unfortunate. Oh no, Grimwood, please. Replicant expected Grimwood to go for the immediate hit, which they did. They should have double backed. Instead, what happened is that's going to be a 2-0 lead for Replicant. We could be looking at a bracket reset almost immediately, because Grimwood is now in the position where they have to reverse sweep again. We're going straight back to Buster Beach. What is happening here, my friends? What is happening in this tournament? It's been close from here on out, and whoop, strap yourselves in. Here we go again. Brass is back. Tell a friend. It's gonna be Nade. It's gonna be Chiller. No, it's not. It's gonna be the Chakram. And now it's Grimwood's turn to lay on that heat once again. They were so close to being able to take a point with the Min Min, but unfortunately Replicant just had the right tools at their disposal. Now it's going to be back to Brass, and Replicant will surely have learned from that previous set what to expect, but the Chakram is still going to get the stun through. And this is what you have to be careful of, especially if you're Lola. You do not want to be in that hot pocket against someone like Brass, who is going to box you in there and keep you there for as long as possible. 300 damage. Replicant tries to ping on through, but they've got none of their fire tools at their disposal. Nothing that can completely take down Brass. And that's why you just see Grimwood just piling on all of this pressure, throwing in the arms like they don't care, because all Replicant can do is either slow Brass down, which doesn't really affect them too much, or try to go for the explosion, which Grimwood will just flinch through, will just phase through anyway, because this is Brass. He don't flinch to this stuff. Both with rush available to go. Grimwood is starting to tick towards that KO range, so they'll have to be a little careful themselves. 30 seconds left on the clock. And grab is not going to connect. That would have KO'd. Instead, they're just going to say, screw it. I want this point. I want this point now. I will do rush, and I will take that point. So what will we be looking for Replicant to bring in? Well, we knew the Hydra was in the back, and the Hydra is going to come out now. Nade and Chakram remains for Grimwood, going to keep with that stun and that explosion. Meanwhile, Replicant knows full well they have to bring the Hydra in here. If they don't bring an arm with a fire element, they are not going to be able to shut down Grimwood's momentum in any way, shape or form. Grimwood won't mind so much being in the hot pocket because they're the ones who are going to deal out the damage. They'll shield through all of this rush, chip damage and nothing else. Trying to go for the grab punish, but not gonna happen on this occasion. Hydra just about phase it through, and big time hug from Grimwood, exactly what they needed. Now trying to force Lola into the pocket themselves. Where will this play out? Not great for Lola. Another big time grab. Another big time grab. Making them 3! That is 3 successful grabs out of 3 for Grimwood, and now they're going to come in with a rush. Big time as well. 250 damage. Replicant is in a world of trouble. That's another successful explosion poke. That is a big hug, and just like that, Grimwood has a point back, and here we go again. Ah, crap, here we go again. It's 2-1. It's 2-1 in the grand finals. And of course it's Max Brass. Oh my gosh. I've just seen Lenny in the chat going, Grim, your grabs are too much. Stop hugging. It's like, listen. You don't like hugs? You don't like hugs? Don't play against Brass. Brass will hug you. Bragg will hug you for days. Brass will hug you. And then he'll hug you again. And then even when you think you've got it figured out and you know what to do, he'll hug you again. He won't stop. And we are gonna go to Scrapyard. Now, here's where we're staring on the barrel of another reverse sweep potential. Grimwood, don't do this. Grimwood, my friend, my buddy, chum, pal, friendly friend, pal, home slice, bread slice stock. If you reverse sweep again in this tournament, we're having words. We are having serious words. So, Replicant, Lola, Grimwood, Max Brass, Nade Chiller, and Tribolt on the back, by the way. There's a Tribolt back there. You wouldn't think that, but here it is. It's Chiller and Tribolt that is going to come out for Grimwood. It's Roaster and... not Roaster, it's Hydra and Phoenix coming out for Replicant. Guess who's making sure that Max Brass stays down no matter what happens? It's Replicant. Remember that Rep only needs one more win to force a reset, but you wouldn't think that with Grimwood coming in with another big time hug on Replicant, and a bolt is going to be another stun grab combination, and you will see this quite a lot in this match if Replicant does not time their shields right. They finally do get a Hydra poke, but again, it's another hug! It's another hug from Grimwood that sends Replicant into critical condition, and the bolt hit in mid-air, and that's another big hug, and that's a KO! Oh, Grimwood, please! That was absolutely filthy! Neither of them had a rush charge whatsoever, it was just hug central there. Just... what in the world is this match? It's stun, hug, repeat. Both now with rush available. Replicant is going to come in, dropping the Phoenix, coming in with the Seiki. And it's starting off a little bit more favorable here. Finally trying to get on through. The Hydra charged up. There's no more pillars to pretty much hide her on. They pretty much went from the get-go. They need to time this a little bit better. 350. Make that 430. The missile rush is exactly what they needed. Grimwood on the cusp of critical. If anything, that's quite favorable for Lollapop because it means Grimwood isn't in that perma-buff state yet. But here we go again. It's another grab combination that's coming up. Replicant has the shield up, but there's a stun again. They tried to get the punch out, but it did not happen. They are almost in KO range. They cannot surely allow this to go down. You have such a lead. This would be a monumental comeback from Grimwood. The rush is going to come out. It hits. It K. No, it doesn't KO. It actually didn't KO, but the ball finally hit. It's 2-2 in the grand final. It's 2-2. Oh my goodness me. What does Replicant have to do here? What does Replicant have to do to stop this Max Brass, because they're bringing everything at this. We're going back to Scrapyard again, which should favor Lollapop, but Brass is just ignoring the stage favors. He's just ignoring it completely. He's coming in with bolts that are stunning the Lola and setting them up for a big hug. If the shield is up, the hug is there. If the punches come out, the hug is there. Brass has a read for everything Rep is coming up with. It's going to take something very special, it seems, to dethrone Brass and stop them from winning this belt. For what I show them, from winning this belt, from winning this cup. For what would only be, by the way, the second time. It's all to play for here. Replicant must win to force the reset, or the championship is over. Rep will be coming in with a Roaster and a Seeky. Grimwood ain't gonna change, cause it's Tribolt and it's Chiller. The Chiller's gonna hit and immediately recoil that. And the first hug of this fight is gonna come forward almost immediately. Picked out the air once again by another well-timed punch from Grimwood. Gonna bulk up almost immediately. We'll take the uncharged Roaster. It's not charged up, so it won't send Grimwood down just yet. The bolts are devastated because Replicant knows if any of those hit, it's gonna lead into a grab and they cannot afford to take it. Rush is already available from Grimwood's side of things. Replicant almost there. If the missiles can hit, it's massive damage, but we've seen Grimwood come back time and time again. Replicant is just hiding behind, right in between these two pillars. They've also got the high ground if they so wish to go up there, but you've seen that Grimwood doesn't care anyway. He'll just play the aggressive style. He'll just come up into your face, and he's just trying to annoy and just push through everything that Rep wants to send their way. Replicant does have less health, but now they're back on United terms. Finally sends Grimwood down past the halfway mark. It does mean a Rush could switch things nicely, but it's going to be Grimwood who commits to it first. Replicant, if they connect with their Rush, they will retake that lead, potentially pushing for a KO, but the Tri-Bolt hits with 20 seconds to go. Grimwood knows if they can stall Replicant from over here and force Rep to do something a little rash, it might change the course of this tournament. The grab will come out. Grimwood just kind of mocking at this point. Will take the grab because I don't think that will go anywhere near critical. It doesn't. Grimwood takes the point. It is championship point for Grimwood. The reverse sweep could happen in two consecutive best of 5 matches for Grim. Rush is going to come out immediately, but the Hydro whiffed. Grimwood got to the side just in the nick of time. There is no damage, and Grimwood has Rush pretty much at the start instead now. And this could be absolutely unfortunate. No! Actually gets the shield up in time, so it'll only be 50 damage in the end. Replicant very fortunate they got that shield up, but the damage is still there, and the shield is going to be punished regardless. The overuse of it means it's another big hug. Tribolt poked out the air by the Hydra. This is Grimwood's to lose at this point in time. The health lead is there, but Rep has Rush available. If they can get the missile off this time round, they might still be able to swing this as Grimwood starts poking back down towards the halfway mark. Replicant with a great poke, lost the arm of the missile, but the Hydra was able to stop Grimwood in time. Now, this all comes down to timing. Replicant gonna have the shield up, waiting for Brass to come forward. They know if they can just at least shimmer out the grab, they've got a chance, but the Rush is gonna come out first, and that will KO! That will KO Replicant. Grimwood has done it! For the first time since the 32nd Cup, Grimwood has won the EU Challenge Cup, and not only that, they did it with not one, but 2 reverse sweeps against Replicant. 1 in Winners Final, 1 in the Grand Final. Replicant was a point away from forcing the bracket reset in the Grand Final, but it's not gonna happen. Grimwood switches the Brass both times, both reverse sweeps. My word. That was something else. GG's to both players. Hard fought to the end. Grimwood couldn't score a point with Twintel. Grimwood almost scored a point with Min Min, but couldn't quite make it. But the second the Brass came out, it all changed. let's not take anything away from what Replicant has done. Replicant has managed to come forward, knocked out Riffer not once, but twice, and took Replicant to the distance in both of the best of 5 sets. But it's just not enough to edge out the brass. And like I said, for the first time in 13 events, Grimwood will win the Challenge Cup for only the second time, like I said. And with that, actually moves up in the standings as a result. Oh my word, that was unbelievable. Unbelievable from everyone involved. I hope you had so much fun, because we have had quite possibly one of the closest Challenge Cup tournaments I have called for quite some time, because all the way till the end you just didn't know who was going to take that. Grimwood's momentum was outrageous, but the Replicant Riffer fight was so close in both occasions. The Riffer Raffer fight, that was incredibly close. Like, there's been so many matches up to best of 3, matches up to best of 5. It's so many things to talk about, but that is how we are going to end it. Grimwood wins the Challenge Cup for the second time. Replicant will come second for the third time, and Riffer loses the championship. Their reign has ended and will finish in 3rd position in this competition. I hope you have all enjoyed yourself. Now remember that obviously we operate on a fortnightly basis. The next Challenge Cup will be 2 weeks' time. But I do believe there's going to be another tournament that you will want to tune into tomorrow. Because tomorrow, for those of you who have not seen, there is going to be our second EU Arms free play tournament. That competition will be a double elimination tournament unless we have a lot of people sign up. I know last time round, for those of you who missed it, last week we ran it, there were I think 41 people signed up, so it ended up being turned into a Swiss bracket. It will be double elimination as it stands, I do believe, but if we get enough entrants it will turn into a Swiss, so you get the general idea. And yeah, it's a free play tournament. The free trial ends tomorrow, but the tournament will still be running during that time. So if you want to get involved, feel free to do so. There will be links in the Discord, and you'll also see it shared on our Twitter if you're not already following us there at European_Arms. We'll be uploading our individual matches over on our YouTube, EU Arms Competitive, and obviously you can catch all of the tournaments live as they happen here on Twitch at EU_Arms. So thank you all so much for coming by. Thank you to everybody who took part. Thank you to everyone who's in the chat. It's been an incredible series of matches. Take care of yourselves. I have been Smashy Kancho. This girl will leave you with, I'd say words of wisdom, but they're really not words of wisdom, are they? It's just keep having fun, do what you do, and above all else, stay fresh.